All right, welcome to Parx Saturdays show. I am John Brazer, Director of Fun and Games of the Fighting Phillies. We got Tommy Greene, former pitcher from the 93 World Series team.
Good to be with you, my friend.
And we have our guests today. We're going to have two guests today. This is the first of our guests, Vance Worley, the Vanimal. Vanimal, how you doing?
Doing well, thank you.
I got to know where he got that name from, man.
Oh, is that going to be our first question?
Yeah, that's going to be our first question.
Vanimal, what do you got?
It's a college nickname from the weight room.
Okay. Oh, really?
Yes, from the weight room.
That's where it goes.
Yeah.
I think we have two Vanimals according to the weight room.
I don't know. Them weight room days are over for me now.
I don't know. He's not so small these days.
Yeah.
So, all right. So we got a great show today. We're going to have Vance on for an hour, and then we're going to have another era. We're going to have 1980 era. So we're going to have 93. We're going to have 2011. And we're going to have 1980 with Dickie Noles. He'll be here from 1 to 2. So stay tuned here. We are outside the Sportsbook at Parx Casino. Andrew Frazier is working over here. So
got a Frazier and a Brazer.
Got a Frazier and a Brazer, a future radio show down the road. What do you think, Tommy? TV, podcast, whatever we're going to do.
Oh, yeah.
All right, we got a great show because today at 6:38, the Fighting Phillies are playing the Dodgers. I mean, Major League Baseball has a great series, and this really should be, if there was no American League, National League, this should be the World Series. But even at a lesser rate, this should be the NLCS. But no, it is the NLDS.
Yes.
Just the way it's has shaken out. But I tell you what, both teams, man, I was looking through them. We'll go through the matchups, but when you look at the starting pitching, the position players, the bullpen, the coaches, the manager, I mean, it's pretty crazy the number of the talent and the MVPs and the All-Stars and the world-renowned players that are going to take on this in this game.
I wonder how much total the contracts are on these two teams you're playing today.
Well, I can tell you the
oh my gosh.
Well, I think it's Dodgers. I don't know what the exact order is. Mets, Dodgers, or Dodgers, Mets. I think it's Dodgers, Mets, and then we've got to be
top four,
three or four.
Yeah.
Right. So, yes, there's just a lot of star power, but there's a lot of interesting little wrinkles within this series, too. Best of 5, so it's not a best of 7, it's a best of 5. And just
how about the scheduling of the 5 games? When do you ever see like a game 1 tonight, then an off day,
right,
and then play Monday, and we're playing in Philly? It usually goes 2-2-1 or whatever it's going to be in a 5 game. You have that day off in the middle when you travel.
Right, and now
they got 2 days off.
Well, and they could have played. They didn't have to play a third game, which they would have played Thursday. So you couldn't start it Friday.
Yeah.
And my guess is they don't want to go up against the NFL on Sunday.
Yeah.
Right.
That would probably. I could see that, but still, this is the playoffs.
Right.
The football can hang on for a minute. That's the way I look at it.
I hear you. All right. Well, let's dive. So, Vanimal, let's go through a couple things. One, we were just talking off the air. You had a basically your career through the minor leagues. I mean, you had I know guys right now are coming up quicker and having instant success. But for you had an interesting thing where, first of all, you went to McClatchy High School. Tommy, I'm going to give you a little hint. What friend of yours, former Philly, went to McClatchy High School in Sacramento? It's a friend of yours, someone you know very well.
McClatchy High School.
Right? One of the best Phillies ever.
Who you think from California? You got Cole.
Okay, it's not Cole.
You got Wolfie.
It's not Wolfie. Think more Dickie Noles era.
Oh, think old. Okay.
Well,
where's Dickie at?
Older, in case Dickie, if you're watching.
Think Brazer's era.
Right, yes.
Oh, my gosh.
Sacramento.
Boa?
Temper. Yes, I was about to say Temper.
Boa.
Larry Boa. He went to the same high school as Larry Boa.
How about that? Yeah.
I mean, look at this.
Did you get his temper, too? Does it rub off down there?
Look at it. He's calm, cool, and
I'm
collect.
pretty calm right now.
But you also had Malcolm Floyd went there. You had Nick Johnson, who's Larry's nephew.
Yes.
Right? You had. You also had a Supreme Court justice. You had Anthony Kennedy went there. I mean, that's a pretty good class right there. And you had some magicians and other ones. I love looking at, where people went to high school. All right, but anyway, you get drafted by the Phillies in 2005 in the 20th round, but you decide to go to college, right? Long Beach State, Cal State Long Beach. Was that decision pretty easy, or did you have to kind of mull it over pretty hard?
I wouldn't say it was easy, but I definitely thought about the future with that one. I wanted to make sure I got 3 years of education under my belt, especially because my last high school game I got hurt.
Right.
So it was, do I want to gamble and lose a scholarship,
right,
or do I want to, risk everything? So.
I think that's a smart decision. I was getting ready to say, depending on your health and, I mean, the money in the 20th round. It's all about, you learn quickly. It's all about you getting paid or not.
Sure.
And that's a big go-getter right there. Because I went through, the same thing, but I was a first-round guy back in the day. And I told myself I wasn't going. I mean, a little bit different years. I was drafted in '85.
Right.
So, the money wasn't there unless you were a little bit of a first-round pick.
It's funny. Back then, right. I was saying back then it was.
I mean, I'm not afraid. I got 162.5, and I got more than the first player pick got.
Right.
Yeah. That year, and and I said, okay, the only way I'm going is if I'm drafted in the first round, and and I already had decided I probably was going to go to Clemson. I had a full ride to where I wanted to go.
Right.
I said the only way I'm not is. I'm going to college if I'm second round and below. I said it's going to be worth my while a little bit more if I was the first round.
And by the way, Tommy went to same high school as Chester McLaughlin.
Yeah.
Right?
NFL.
And you also went to the same high school as Mackenzie Gore.
Mackenzie Gore, with the Nationals down. Yeah. He's obviously younger than me. Matter of fact, I worked with him when he was like 12 or 13. 12 or 13 years old. And he was a young kid. But I told my high school coach who was doing. He wasn't the high school coach back then. But he was you helped with the AAU teams around there. I said, don't take that leg kick away from him. I said, don't try to change that. That's his.
Yeah, that's unique.
And he's kept that. And it's part of what he does. And it's been pretty effective a little bit for him.
All right, so then in 2006, so you're in college. You played collegiate summer baseball, Chatham A's. I went up to a Cape Cod game a couple years ago.
I've never been. You got to tell us about that.
And it was in Chatham, and it was America. To me, it was Americana at its finest. You had kids running around. You had kids, people with lawn chairs. You had tables set up, folding tables that were selling T-shirts and hot dogs. That's not in a concession stand. It was basically on a table.
Oh yeah, no, very. It was a neat experience. Summer Catch, the movie was based on that team that I played for, and not a lot of it's true, but in some cases I think some of it is. But just being around those guys, I mean, a lot of those guys got drafted not just off of the team that I played for, but throughout that whole league. So it was really cool to see the talent that you could be possibly going up against down the road if you're all getting drafted.
Well, and the scouts are looking at that league too, because it's the first time really that you're using wooden bats. So they want to see how the offensive players are using. They could be great in college using aluminum, but now they're going with wooden, and then seeing how the pitchers.
Yeah, does it transfer? Does it?
No, it's definitely different. With the aluminum bats, especially from that era, the Brazer bats. They were a little juiced up. So
right.
It wasn't fun to pitch against.
No, you hit it off the end, it goes. You hit it off the label, it goes. It doesn't matter. Yeah.
Right.
All right. So then, Tommy, how about this one? 2008. The Phils, you got to try again, right?
At first you get lucky
succeed.
and draft him again.
At first you don't succeed, try again. So he was selected in 2008, right? The year to obviously win the World Series. This time in the third round of the MLB. So your gamble paid off.
It did.
Right?
It did.
But then you made a meteoric rise up you went to Lakewood, right? But then you didn't play high A. Usually you go Lakewood, Clearwater.
That was Lakewood in 2008.
Yeah.
You went right in after the draft. That was in June, right?
I had a quick stint with Williamsport.
In the rookie league, and then but then you basically went low.
Yep. Went to Lakewood,
but then normally the path is Lakewood to Clearwater to Reading to Lehigh Valley to the pros.
Yeah.
You and Stutz, right?
Correct.
Jumped the normal progression.
Yeah, we were doing it together all the way through. They were a great teammate all the way up too. But just to hear the path that normally guys are taking, you're making a stop at every level so you can learn something.
And it might be a couple of years at a certain level.
Right, and both me and Stutz were out of college, so we got those 3 years of learning the game at a higher level than rookie ball, I think, in my opinion. So we could be ready to play at that higher level.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think a great college program, let's look at like it back in the day, because I come out of high school, and then there were sometimes before we'd start our season, I know in AA we did it this way. We played Clemson, so it's pretty, compatible, say to speak, well-oiled college team it can compete with the high AA type team, sort of. You know, I mean, they got good athletes, good pitching and stuff like that. So it's that level.
I remember back in the day, Florida State played against the Phillies in spring training. Buster Olney was on Florida State, right? Right? I think it's
Buster Posey.
But what did I say? Buster Olney.
Yeah. The other Buster.
Buster Olney did not play for Florida State.
Not.
It was Buster Posey.
Yeah.
Right? I think it's Florida State. Right? That right? And I remember everyone saying that because after the game, some of the Florida State guys came into our clubhouse, and I was working in PR then. And they were basically, and I remember someone said that kid right there is going to be, a future star in Major League Baseball, Buster Posey, not Buster Olney. And sure enough, I guess whatever.
Dude could hit.
It was
too.
right.
He could hit, dude.
Yes, he could.
Being a catcher, he was smart.
All right, so then you go to AA, and you go kind of up and down. You had success. You didn't, and then but then you in 2010, that's when 2010 is when you get called up. And I always like to ask, what was that like from a call up? Like, right now we had some players this year, Otto Kemp, right, gets called up, and here's a guy who got non-drafted, wasn't drafted, and then we had him on our podcast and talked about the emotions that come through. What was that like when you got the phone call and especially we're talking 2010?
Yeah, no, it was very special. I think when you're playing this game and that's the end goal is to get there, everybody has a different story of how they get presented that day. And for me, I was already headed back to the team hotel. We were in Erie, Pennsylvania, playing the Tigers. And I get to the hotel, and our trainer says, hey, you got to stay on the bus. You got to go back to the stadium. And all the older guys on the bus are instantly, congratulating me. They're like, hey, man, you're going. Like, we're not going to see you later. Like, don't even worry about coming back. Don't come back here. Do well. Never come back to the minors. And get back over to the clubhouse, and Steve Roadcaps, my manager at the time, and he says, hey, you screwed up on the game chart. And I said, what do you mean I screwed up on the game chart? Because I was on the gun. He goes, oh, well, I guess we're going to have to call J.C. Ramirez up to the big leagues because he did a bad job on the right.
Right.
And I go, I'm sorry?
Yeah, I was going to say, were you putting it together?
Yeah, he goes, just go pack.
Right.
He's like, go have fun. Like, good luck.
That's great. Yeah. That's awesome. And then your first, when you came in the first time, what was that like? The butterflies going right now. Again, we're going to equate it to, with some of the players out there facing the playoffs first time. But what was it like regular season, your first outing?
It was nerve-wracking because I didn't get in right away. I was there for a couple series before I got in.
Yeah,
and,
so you had to sit and wait.
Yeah, so every time, and I was in the bullpen, which I hadn't done professionally.
Right.
So every time
I was in your same spot. I was with the Braves like that, but Bobby Cox had a rule. If you wasn't a starter, if you were in the bullpen, you got to clean in. You were that day. You were getting in somehow. You wasn't sitting no more than a day. You were pitching.
And it's against the Rockies, right?
It was against the Rockies. Yeah, it was a hot one.
Yeah.
We had a good lead, and I remember they called down. They said, "Hey, like today's your day. Like get loose. You're getting your clean inning. Go have fun." And I remember getting loose and just being erratic. Not how a normal bullpen would go for me, just because it was a different routine. And I remember. Third out was made. I threw my last warm-up pitch, walked down the steps, and I start looking, and I look up, and I go,
right.
"That's
They always
a
say
mistake."
Don't look up the third level, right?
Hey, we got some. I remember going into L.A. my first time. My first game was in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
I pitched, but and I knew that was my first. I was starting, so it was. I had a chance to prepare, but I went to L.A. and the day after we pitched, we do the bucket. Right.
Yeah.
So I pitched the first day in. The next day, I'm doing the bucket, and Vuk calls for the balls, and I bring it up there, and I dumped the balls, and I looked up for the first time. I didn't look up the day before, and the stadium was the top of it was like up there.
Yeah, that one goes up there.
That one's way up there, and I was like, oh my God! I mean, I'd never noticed it, before because. Coming up with the Braves, about every year, I remember Liam Mazzoni, you said, hey, the game's played right in front of you like you started in high school, 60 foot, 6 inches. You've done it a million times.
Yeah.
Hey, let's keep it right there. Pull your hat down a little bit, stay focused right there. The game's not played up there; it's played
Right.
here.
I like that.
And that's the way we did it. So it helped.
Yeah.
For that moment.
And if you watch the game 3, the ultimate game for the Red Sox and the Yankees, here they had Schlitter, right, was the pitcher rookie for the
he had
Yankees.
good stuff, boy.
And then you had Connor Early, I think his name is. That was a kid for the Red Sox who pitched lights out until 4th inning. Just there should have been a first out, the ball that went to the outfield. But the composure on those kids in 2 tough markets, Boston, New York, the composure, your rookie in the end all game, and the fact that they did what they did is pretty impressive.
Very impressive. Those are 2 tough places to play, behind here too,
Yeah.
Well, I mean, what do you think? Vance, it's you're nervous. You got people think, but you got those things. And I know for me, it was a huge thing, throwing that first strike, getting that out of the way type thing, so you can
Oh, for
and get
sure.
that. I didn't know
Plus with the
how you
playoffs.
handled that. Now mine was something getting that first batter, getting that out.
Yeah.
That first, and okay, now let's go.
You could feel the ground when you're in the playoffs. It's different.
Yeah.
You might be able to block out sound, but when you start feeling stuff shaking, then you really have to lock in.
Yeah. I mean, you played in Philly with all them people there. It's unbelievable.
It's loud.
Well, so you in 2010 you don't make the playoff roster, but you were basically sent down to kind of be ready in case someone gets hurt or something else happens. But then in 2011, you get called up on April 29th because Joe Blanton went on the disabled list, and then it's like you didn't want to let go because you went on just a heater. You had actually by September 8th, the Phillies won each year 14 previous starts. And that includes games where you didn't have a decision. So you went just skyrocket, just all the way through.
Watch the adage: stick your foot in the door and don't let it shut.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It's hard to stay, man.
And then so you were third, I believe, to Freddie Freeman, and I forget who the other person is. Freddie Freeman and somebody else to basically
Closer.
You're right. It was our guy, Craig Kimbrell.
Yes.
And then you were third in Rookie of the Year. You get sent to the bullpen towards the end of the season, and then we go and what was it like? You've got 2011. You got Roy Halladay, you got Roy Oswalt, you got Cole Hamels, you got Cliff Lee, and you're the 5th for most of that season. I know people think Joe Blanton, but Joe Blanton again was hurt for most of that year. I mean, man, how much knowledge did you learn from any one of those guys?
It was just, for me, it was just staying quiet and out of their way, and just watch and learn. Obviously we all do something a little different, but if there's something that you can take from each guy and then apply it to your game, you can be all right.
That's well put, and nothing better because you got your day, you pitch, and what's great about our job is the other 4 days you get to watch the best in the business do their job, then you can take stuff from them and how can I be better and consistent
and
like
when
they
you say
are.
their job, it's not just the pitching element, it's how they prepare, right?
Correct.
I mean, especially I just remember Roy Halladay. Roy Halladay would in spring training, I would have to get there very early for radio stations coming down there, and Roy Halladay there'd be one car, maybe 2 cars, and Roy is definitely one of the cars. He'd get in there like 4:30, 4:45 because he liked to kind of just have his own routine with not people around, just do his own thing. And so, and he just the way his attitude, his focus, his whole like that. So you're learning that, but you're also learning between the lines, maybe a certain pitch or how to prepare baseball wise.
Definitely. Lots of preparation behind the game, not just the baseball side of things. You got to get your body loose and be ready to go and be able to do your job. And he was the workhorse. He was always there early, whether it was spring training or during season. He knew what he needed, and he had his game plan for pitching. I know him and Chooch used to get together, and they would just go meet over in his locker, and it was just, all right, stay out of Doc's way. It's his day. He's going to go to work. And
well, it's almost like stay out of Doc's way on every day. Okay, he was focused even days he's not pitching.
Yeah,
right.
But
he
even
had
more
that
so,
kind of
for sure.
All right, yeah. So, and then also, did you learn any pitches from? Again, everyone had their different, whether it's a cutter, slider. All those different. The staff had their different. Did you guys toy around, like utilizing that knowledge, saying, "All right, Cole, tell me about your changeup," or
Right. I actually learned how to throw the cutter from all those guys, but the one that really stuck out to me was how Cole threw his, and that's how I threw mine. And,
Okay.
And then we both wound up having bone spurs.
Right. Direct correlation or just coincidence?
I think it's just coincidence. It was funny asking him about it. I was like, hey, what do you think? He goes, oh, you got it.
Right. That's great.
But,
and again, each one is a different pitcher, too.
Mm-hmm.
And then you guys get to the playoffs, and we played the Cardinals, and it's a shame because that 2011 team, I think most fans would agree, probably was the strongest team we had. And, we were a direct result of why Cardinals snuck in, because they got in the last day. And
yes.
I think didn't we play them, or did we somehow we allowed them to get in somehow. I can't remember. We lost or we won a game that if we had lost, the Cardinals wouldn't have gotten in. Something like that. And then sure enough, it just, be careful what you ask for. And that game 3 was epic because it was Chris Carpenter versus Roy Halladay.
Yeah.
And, again, you're watching from the bullpen, you're watching from the bench. I mean, that's got to, that was a great series. Unfortunately, we were on the tail end of that. But
Yeah. No, I mean, that's one of those matchups that you want to watch, if you're into pitching, is two guys like that going against each other.
And they were friends, too.
Yeah, they played together, right? In
Toronto.
Yep. Yeah. And so I'm sure it meant a little bit more to them to go against each other, too, in that kind of atmosphere. But that was a great series, man. I hate to say it, but, just being on the losing end of it.
Yep. And, again, one of the best teams in Phillies. All right, Tommy, what do we got?
Hey, we're at Parx Casino, right, my friend? And did you know that it's Pennsylvania's #1 casino? They have it all: excitement, headline entertainment, and a collection of award-winning restaurants like the Liberty Bell Gastropub and the Beer Garden, the Parx Grill Steakhouse, the Bamboo Noodle House, and Chickies and Pete's. Parx Casino, this is how you win. Tickets on sale for these headliners: December 5th, 2025, Straight No Chaser. December 6th, comedian Ken Jeong.
He's the guy that was in Hangover.
Yes. And December 12th, Get the Lead Out, a Led Zeppelin tribute. That's right up your alley, Brazer. So, and November 26th, comedian Joe Diaz. October 4th, Kansas. October 25th, Almost Queen. November 21st, Air Supply. I like that. I'm old school.
You're all out of love?
All that stuff. I love that stuff. November 22nd, comedian Brian Regan. And ParxCasino.com to go there to buy your tickets for all shows. Parx Casino, this is how you win. You must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
All right, well, we're going to carry on, my wayward son.
Okay, that's a good one, Kansas. I actually saw them in Des Moines, Iowa, AAA. After the game, they pulled two semi-flatbed trucks together on it and it was like 10,000 people there that night. That place was rocking. They were good. So.
Are you a Kansas fan?
I'm familiar with the band, yes.
Okay.
And the song,
What is your music genre? Like, I forget, did you have what song came out when you came into the game?
I had a little bit of everything. At the time, I want to say it was a Kanye West song.
Okay.
But usually hip-hop, electronic stuff. I listen to rock, too. It just depends on what my mood is.
Right. Okay.
What kind of rock?
Angry rock.
To pump you up. The weight room, the Vanimal music, right?
I was gonna say it's a shame there's not a song called Vanimal, by like Black Sabbath or something, right? I can see that Vanimal, right? And he comes out, right? He's got the glasses out there.
People just got these questions. I think, well, what was your walk-up music? I said, I didn't have walk-up music. What's that? What was that? I don't know what y'all did when we did. They just put stuff on. I don't know. I didn't ask for anything, or the only person who probably asked for something was probably Dude.
Well, I can tell you exactly because I did the music. I started the Phillies in 1994, and Tom Burgoyne did the music, and then he became the best friend of the Fanatic. So then, I guess my boss at the time, I just started. My boss said, "Hey, would you want to do the music?" The guy left or he switched jobs. And I said, yeah, you kidding me? So basically the DJ, but players weren't requesting music. I would basically get to play whatever I want. Now, this is back when it was carts. So if you ever went into a radio station way back in the day, it looked like 8-track tapes. And you'd have to rewind it, and then you put it in there. So we had sound bites. We had, Walk This Way if someone walked, or Walk Like an Egyptian, or, Walk of Life by Dire Straits. Or if there was like a big rally, you'd play "We Will Rock You," or you'd play the Chicago Bulls song, or all this different stuff. That, you know, if there's a rally. But Lenny Dykstra was the first one to request.
That doesn't shock me whatsoever.
I'll tell the real quick story. Is a guy from Major League Baseball was doing a story on the history of walk-up music, and he had almost written it, and somebody said to him, hey, you might want to talk to this guy John Brazer, because he has a story about Lenny Dykstra, and I'm not sure when it took place, but you might want to hear it. It's a good walk-up story. So my job for like a month, and Larry Schenk, who's my boss at the time, said,
the great Baron,
hey, John, the dude wants to see you. I'm like, huh. And my immediate thought was, I'm in trouble, right? I did something. I don't know what that would be, but I was going on radio shows at the time, and maybe I said something on the radio that Lenny wasn't happy about, right? So I'm like, all right, well, yeah, should I just go out to the field? Or because he was out shagging balls. He said, I'll take you out there. So he takes me out there. Lenny's out in right field just shagging. And he goes, hey, dude, here's a guy you want to talk to. It's basically leading the lamb into the slaughterhouse. So Lenny's
and Brazer had to walk the gauntlet. Yeah, that's what it was down in our crew back there.
Lenny's out there, and he's spitting tobacco. And he's like, dude, we got to change some things up. I'm like, what do we got? He goes, the first time I come up to bat, I want you to play that song, Hooting the Bluefish, Hold My Hand. I'm like, my first reaction is, good, I'm not in trouble. Yeah. 2, I'm like, huh. All right, that's easy. I can do that. He goes, dude, when I get in the batter's box, pull it down. I'm like, all right. And I'm almost walking away, and he says, dude, second time I come up to bat. He said, Tom Petty, don't back down. Tom Petty, don't back down. I'm like, all right. He goes, same thing. Get in the box and pull it down. All right. Third time. Like, third time? And he says, he's thinking about it for a minute. Balls flying everywhere. I'm in, khakis and loafers and everything. And he's like, I like that song you played, Philadelphia Freedom, Elton John. Play that one. So I'm like, all right. Then in the fourth time, I'm sitting there, and he's thinking for like 2 minutes. Again, balls flying over. He's spitting everywhere. And he said, dude, if I get a hit on any of those balls, any of those bats, play that one again. So I'm up there, and he said, don't tell anybody. So I'm up there, and I'm playing the stuff, and everyone's up there. It's like a little fraternity up there. I'm like, dude, he doesn't like, Hooting the Bluefish. Why are you playing that for Lenny? I'm like, and the same thing, I did it 2 games, and finally, I think Lenny went 1 for 8, and I knew he was superstitious, and I said,
him going 1 for 8 was a rarity,
right? And I said, I'm going to cut it off, and I'm sure he's not going to say anything. So I was just catching grief too much from everybody else. But we figured out that Lenny Dykstra was the first one to request a walk-up song.
That's why
I didn't.
That was basically April of 2000 or 1994.
Yeah.
And nobody had ever. I think they had played songs for players.
Yeah.
Whether it's Trevor Hoffman or Hell's Bells or whatever. But no player had ever requested. And then it was basically the floodgates started opening up a little bit. Wayne Gomes asked me. He said, "Here, this is how long ago it was." He gave me a cassette tape, and he said, "When I come in to close, put this on." I'm like, "All right." Well, thankfully, I listened to it before I played it because I just wanted to make sure it was queued up. Yeah. I wasn't thinking I had to edit it, so I put it on. I'm during the game's going on. I put it on my headsets. I'm listening to the song, and it was a curse word.
It was like
a curse word every 2 seconds. I would have gotten fired in 2 seconds. And after the game, he's like, Brazer, you didn't play my song. I said, well, Wayne, because I want to keep my job. Like I can't play that song. Yeah. He's like, why not? I'm like, dude, it had curse words in it. I can't do that. So, yeah.
You've been bleep, 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 bleep.
Well, I wouldn't have bleeped. It would have gone right out there. And I would have gotten a phone call from Dave Montgomery's booth. John,
Dave would have got you.
This and that. So, yeah, so a lot of fun back then. All right, so we got your walk-up song. All right, so but then in that playoffs, go through what are the emotions. And Tommy, you pitched in the playoffs too. Yeah. For the guys that are pitching today, it's no matter if you're a veteran or not, right? It's a different animal.
Well, it's a different animal when you haven't done it. It's still the same game, but still you're in the playoffs. And that little bit extra level, you get amped up a little bit. And what it's about controlling your emotions. I know for me, it was a huge thing, but I was working on 11 days rest, believe it or not. I was pitching on the 11th day, so I could throw it through that center block wall. And hence, I couldn't get it down in the zone. Hence, ball 1, ball 2, because the zone is what it is today. You catch it on the mask. Back then, it was a ball. You had to be there.
Yeah.
And then you start having to pay the piper. Then you cut ball 1, ball 2, you're in trouble. That's what happened to me. and I got beat around a little bit that first game. But the next time I was on my regular day's rest, I was down in the zone. But you handle a little, you know how to deal with it a little bit. That's what happened to me.
Yeah.
So especially like Ohtani. So Ohtani's one of the best players in the world, right? He's played in big situations in Japan. He's played in obviously big situations. They win the World Series last year, but he didn't pitch because he had Tommy John surgery. He could only hit. So now he is coming into arguably the toughest environment in all of baseball, and I think it's not even a question that Citizens Bank Park is the craziest environment. It's game one. Fans are revved up. We've had a great season. It's going to be complete, as Scott Francie says, bedlam at the park tonight. And you got Shohei Ohtani on the mound, who hasn't pitched a lot this year. He's pitched enough, but he hasn't pitched a lot. But he's pitching in his first playoff game at Citizens Bank Park. I mean, that's what do you think is going through his head right now?
I'm sure he's got a lot going through his head.
Yeah.
Just the beast itself in Philly, being able to play in that park as a home player and a visitor. Like I've gotten to hear both sides.
Right,
of it,
right, right.
But when you're one of the faces of baseball, yes, there's going to be a lot more pressure. I think expected, just because everybody's going to want to see that guy have success, but they also want to see him fail too. So
there's no question about that. Now, as I did a show. I mean, I was on a show this morning. You know, they were asking sort of the same things. What about going back him? I said, I hope he stays status quo, like he is, because when he pitches, it seems to be. We were talking about when he pitches, he does it. His average is like maybe 200 or just a shade below.
Okay.
The days he pitches when he hits, you know. So I said, stay hot, you know. We'll take that, you know.
Yeah.
And then now we got to capitalize. We got to work him. We can't, you know. We got to work him. We want to get him out of there somehow, fast as we can.
Well, yes, and I think that's one of the keys to the game. To me, is Dave Roberts. To me, like Dave Roberts is, you know, one, he's going to be a little protective of Ohtani, right? Because he doesn't want to lose him for the series. So, you know, if he gets in trouble that first inning, second inning, you know, it wouldn't be surprised me if he's, you know, they have enough guys in the bullpen, especially starters are now in the bullpen, that if he gets in trouble, I wouldn't be surprised if they went to a Sasaki or they went to a Glasnow or somebody who might not be, you know, pitching as kind of a piggyback type thing. And, you know, you're right. Like the crowd will be going nuts. If, let's say, Trey Turner gets on base with a walk because he's erratic in the beginning, or he gets on base, you know, then all of a sudden, if there's something, even if it's just now, Schwarber hits a home run, it's 2-0, right? That crowd is, just think about what that crowd's going to be, right? And then, and if you're
something like that happens right off the bat,
and
if you're Dave Roberts, you're sitting there going like, oh man,
you're gonna be able to see the game.
How long am I going? Like, you know, because he's a quick yank manager, so, and he does have the guys. But this,
I want to get in that bullpen. That's what I want.
But that's the interesting thing too. But the bullpen has been shaky. You know, they did a lot. They picked up a lot of guys in the offseason. But, you know, in the playoffs is kind of a whole new animal, right?
Yeah.
Because they can put in guys, again, Glasnow, Sasaki, some other guys. They can put in Kershaw. They can put in other guys that,
Kershaw's not on the roster, is he?
I'm not sure.
I don't know. I haven't heard if he's on.
He wasn't on he wasn't on the wild card roster, but I guarantee he's on it.
He's got to be on something.
Yeah. No, he'll be on this roster.
Yeah,
because it's a 5-game series.
But again, they picked up they picked up Tanner Scott, you know, lefter, to be their closer, and Tanner Scott has had a shaky. I mean, even if you look at the series that the Phillies won 4-6 against the Dodgers this year, and actually one of the series out there, we were completely shorthanded. We didn't have Trey Turner. We didn't have a lot of guys. We were Alec Boehm. We were kind of banged up. And once we got it, it was kind of the similar script in our wins. Their starting pitchers did well, right? Yamamoto and but again, once we got the starting pitchers out, then it was their bullpen that kind of gave it up. So, and they've got a lot of lefties. They got Dreyer, they got Tanner Scott, they got Anthony Banda, they got Vesia, and again, then you've got Clayton Kershaw too. So it'll be interesting to see how he deploys the bullpen.
It'll be very interesting. You know, I'm sure, you know, like everybody's goal, I feel like, is to get into the bullpen. And if they keep pitching the way that they did at the end of the season, it'll be tough for them. And
the Phillies had the most innings by starters. So we're almost, you know, Rob Thompson is really kind of the opposite of Dave Roberts, or opposite of a lot of type. And, you know, you got Sanchez, who's known for going 7 innings. And if you can get him to go 7, and then, you know, the 8th inning, you got Strom or Robertson or Tanner Banks has been playing great. If there's any trouble,
Mm-hmm.
and then you're going to Duran. And how about we talked about the roof exploding, but what? You've been to the games, and have you been in the stadium when Duran's been pitching?
I did see some of it, yes.
All right, so I know you guys as old school kind of laugh at the production, the theatrical thing, but it is awesome, and the crowd goes nuts, and the lights go out, and then you can download the thing, and everyone's got their phone, and then you see the tarantula rolling across the flames, and the Bad Bunny music, the whole deal.
Right.
Like, it is like pretty exciting, like very exciting. The regular season. I can't imagine if we have. Well, obviously, if he's coming in, we have a lead. Just the that might be the loudest the ballpark's ever been, right? If that happens today.
Wow, God, that'd go nuts, dude. That'd go. Hey, this place is going to be jumping anyway tonight. You know how that goes. The Philly fans are craving it. They want to win.
Right.
They want to win. So you're going to hear it.
Well, it's almost like, remember when we played Atlanta? We haven't been in the playoffs since 2011. And first playoff game since 2011, and Strider's on the mound. We don't like Strider, right? Philadelphia, and then Rhys Hoskins
hit that ball,
the
dude.
home run, and again, that crowd was already ready to explode. And when he hit that home run and he slammed the bat down, and that's still to this day the loudest I've ever heard that ballpark.
Yeah, that one and the one that was close to rival was Harper's home run off the
Suarez.
closer. Yep,
off Suarez.
Yes. Against the San Diego.
That was the Bedlam at the bank. Call, but I still think that again I was there for both and was two magical moments. But I think that Hoskins was the loudest.
Oh, because we wanted to beat the Braves, right? I mean, so bad.
And again, there was so much pent up emotions because we hadn't been in the playoffs since 2011. It was pretty cool.
Well, I'm seeing some of the. You can see some of the NLDS Wild Card Series and NLDS Dodgers roster. They're putting. There's some of the pitchers they got.
So Kershaw is on the team. Yeah.
Yeah. No, Ohtani's the two-way guy. So
right.
So I think they got 11 guys. We got 13, I think, pitchers.
Yeah.
They got 11.
Yeah,
so they're carrying the extra.
Walker Buehler.
Guys.
Yeah, Walker Buehler and Taijuan Walker. Were the only one, and Mesa too.
Yeah.
The other lefty made the roster. So the pitcher that didn't make the roster that was with us towards the end was Trevino.
Yeah.
And then the position players are all pretty, what you would expect. You had Weston Wilson and Otto Kemp.
Yeah.
Along with everybody else. So
yes.
You're not carrying a third catcher.
No.
So Marchand is on. Garrett Stubbs is not. So there's no surprise there.
No.
And the only other question, maybe Rojas with his speed, if you want somebody for pinch running, but Rojas was a little banged up towards the end of the year. So it's a pretty traditional roster. But again, for the Dodgers, it's what we thought.
Yeah.
It's Glasnow who's a starter, but he's Blake Snell who'll be going game 2. No, I'm sorry. Yamamoto probably game 3. Sasaki will be in the bullpen coming out, which is. That's not his normal, but he did it in the regular season. Blake Trinan, who had a kind of a rough season. Emmett Sheehan's their young guy, that right-hander that's had a very good season. Jack Dreyer, lefty, and Band of the lefty. So they got a lot of lefties on their pitching staff.
Well, that's all right. Schwarber handled lefty's pretty good this year for him. Yeah, I mean, he's had a good year for that. So you got to hit. Hey, it don't matter who throws it. You just got to hit baseball, man.
Right.
And that's the way you got to look at it. Get that other crap out of your head. That's as a hitter, that's what you got to do. I think.
Well, let's go through the matchups between the Dodgers and the Phillies for both of you guys. Ready? So we'll go position by position. So catcher, I think the Phillies have a big advantage. You got Real Muto, who's just been on a good roll, and Will Smith, if he was healthy, you could if you had done this back in July, you'd give Will Smith definitely. But Will Smith has a hairline fracture in his hand. Whether he's going to play or not, I know Ben Wordvet.
How long's it been for him, you think?
A little
fracture,
bit.
It's got to be, 6-8 weeks,
right?
I mean,
he's on the roster, so obviously he's going to
obviously he should be healthy enough to play.
But is he healthy enough, really? Because he really didn't play too much in the wild card. But again, you got Real Muto, who's a veteran, who's been on a good run, knows our pitching staff. So, I think the advantage has got to go Phil's on that one.
Yeah.
You go first base. I mean, there's so many great matchups. First base, you got Freddie Freeman, you got Bryce Harper. So, I mean, pick your poison right there, right? I mean,
Freddie can hit, dude.
Freddie can hit.
Freddie's a hitter.
And Freddie's clutch. Harper, 27 home runs. But Harper's
due to get on that run like a Harper's run.
One of the most dangerous postseason hitters out there. Freddie might be a tad bit better defensively, but a tad bit.
I don't know.
Bryce has done very well.
Harper's pretty good, dude.
Yes, Harper's very good.
He moves good.
He's been making his adjustments, too.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say a tie there, right? Because you got to – all right, then you go second base, and I think we have a pretty good – so they got Miguel Rojas, who's veteran, been around, and you got Tommy Edman. But Tommy Edman is a very good offensive player, but he's got an ankle injury, so we're not really sure whether he's going to be playing or where he's going to be playing, because he can play outfield and second base. And then we've got Stott, who after July 1st has hit 310, 377 on base percentage, 503 OPS.
We needed that guy to do that.
Yeah.
We needed that bottom of that lineup to do that.
And he's produced in the playoffs. He had the one game we beat the Mets. He had the big triple. I'm giving.
And he's good defensively.
Very good defensively. So we're giving it to Stott.
I agree.
All right. Now here's a tough one. Shortstop. You got Mookie Betts and you got Trey Turner. You got Mookie Betts, who didn't have a great, most like 5-6 of the season, and then he had a very good September, and he's Mookie Betts. And you got Trey Turner, who obviously won the batting title in the National League, right? Defensively,
he made strides this year.
Big time made strides. Was very, very, made unbelievable plays. Now Trey Turner, let's hope that he said last couple days that he's healthy enough where he can go full go. We'll see, when he's out there. But I got to give it a tie there, too, because it's Mookie Betts, Trey Turner, right?
You want to. Until Trey proves me he can run.
Right. Then you give it to Mookie.
I got to give it to Mookie. He's more dangerous right now.
But if Trey is healthy.
Yeah, if he's healthy, it's going to be with that tie, I think you're talking about.
He's got some tools that he can bring if he's healthy.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. All right. Third base. This is an interesting one, too. You got Max Muncy. Max Muncy's coming off oblique knee injuries, didn't play a lot against lefties, who he might be facing, because we've got Sanchez, Luzardo, Suarez, or Suarez, Luzardo. I'm guessing. I'm assuming that's the three. Could be Nola in there. But against lefties, Max Muncy, he might not even start in the first 3 games, because
if they go by that.
He's hitting 160, 266 on base, 379 OPS versus lefties over the last 3 years. So it's a pretty good track record. So now Max Muncy's dangerous, but can you afford, with those numbers, can you afford to put him in the lineup? And if he's not in the lineup, then you're looking at Enrique Hernandez or Rojas. So if that's the case, and even with Muncy in there facing lefties, Alec Boehm's been on a good run too.
I agree.
Right? So I think I'm giving it to Alec Boehm. And all right, so then we're going.
Yeah, you got to go to Boehm there.
I'm gonna sound like this. It totally sounds like a homer, right? Because I'm giving everyone to the Phillies.
You're a homer,
but I don't care.
I could have told you that, Brazer.
All right, then left field. Well, left field. Do you have Tommy Edman out there who would be an offensive upgrade, or are you throwing out Enrique Hernandez, Alex Call, or Michael Conforto? Right?
You got to go. Who do I throw out there? I throw out Kiki. Kiki's hot.
Kiki, right? That's Kiki, right? Sorry. So you got Kiki, Alex Call, and Michael Conforto.
He's hot.
Right. So that's probably. I guess that's.
He's a playoff guy too. He's shown it.
But then you got Brandon Marsh.
He's been hot for the last while.
Well, let me just tell you, highest batting average in the National League since May 1st, with a minimum of 300 at bats. Trey Turner 309, Alec Boehm 308, Brandon Marsh 303. That's since May.
I wouldn't have known that, but I tell you what, I knew he had made a ton of. He was finding ways to get on. He was putting the ball in play more and doing. It was amazing to see that turnaround. Because he was like below Mendoza. He was climbing ladders to get up to Mendoza.
All right, so take the homer away, which is me. Who are you guys giving to? Brandon Marsh in left field, or Kiki Hernandez, Alex Call, or Michael Conforto?
I'm going to go Marsh.
Yeah. Right. Because to me, I think he's been the one that's been he's been playing consistently all the time.
Right.
When you start missing matching like that, I think I give it to the guy who's playing every day. So.
All right, so let's go center field. Now this is a tough one too. You got Andy Pages, right? That's how you say it, not Pages. Pages.
I believe so.
A silent G. So who's had great numbers. You look at his numbers right now. Really, I think he's like 27 home runs, hitting like 280 something. But he's had his second half's kind of slowed down. Versus Harrison Bader, as my wife calls him, Mini Dutch. You know, he's got the mullet.
Oh,
he's got
easy now. Easy now.
He's got the purple. Well, no, yeah, mullets are good.
Well, no, I'm telling you, he's Dutch. Yeah, that's crossing the line a little bit there, pal.
Jill calls him Baby Dutch because it's
the hair.
She thinks he's cute. The hair, you know, he's built right.
He ain't Dutch.
I know. So, all right. So you got Andy Pages or Harrison Bader.
Bader. You know, he's been playing.
I'll tell you
well.
what. I'd love him to get back going a little bit, because right there at the end he kind of cooled off a little bit, but it was hard to maintain what he did.
And he
was batting like 600.
And he gives that also. I love his center field. I mean, obviously he's had a couple of balls where he's caught over the wall. You know, I love his backup. He backs up, boom. I mean, he gets good jumps. He's been a big plus for us.
Yeah. Well, you asked the man. He was a starting pitcher too. You know, and every time you turn around, if you turn around and look, and you look at your up the middle defense,
right,
dude, it's so much more confidence that you gathered. You know, you don't feel like you have to be perfect all the time,
because you got somebody out there that can.
I mean, you know, if you give up ground, it's going to be caught. You know, and that was the key back in '93. What was it? When Stocker come up at the All-Star break or whenever they brought him up,
Boa said, "Just catch the ball. We don't care what you do."
He didn't care about him hitting. He hit like 320 for the rest of the year too. Upon that, hitting eighth,
second on the team, I think, behind Eisenreich.
You know, I mean, but he caught everything. Made the routine play, and you look back there and you knew it was going to be caught. You know, and there's no better feeling that, you know, when you made a quality pitch and you know it's going to get picked. You know, and played. That's. I mean, that saves you. You're able to go deeper in games, and you know, and able to do those things for your staff, you know, for your bullpen. So I mean, it's a huge thing.
All right, let's go right field. You got Toscar Hernandez, right, who's been a Phillies killer a little bit, right?
Yeah.
And you got Kepler Casty. What do you got? That's that one. I might. I mean, look, Cassie's can be clutch. And Kepler's been on a good run of late. Yeah. Right?
I got to go with the other guy.
But you're probably going to go, you know, if you're going to really bounce it out.
Yeah.
If I'm going to be fair, probably Hernandez on that one. Then you have DH. You got, how about this one? You got Ohtani and you got Schwarber. Right? I mean,
pick your poison.
Well, there's basically the top two for the MVP, right?
Yeah.
And you got to say tie, right?
Yeah.
But I'm going to give Schwarber the edge because we have potentially 3 games at Citizens Bank Park, and as you said,
the home team
when Ohtani's pitching, right, and we've had
the tendency is
we had some success against him. He's going to be facing, you know, potentially 3 left-handed pitchers, right, and you got the crowd going to be going nuts, you know, especially that first Schwarbomb. So yeah, I'm going to call it a tie, but slight edge to Schwarber. Right, that's my
Homer.
That's my Homer speaking. All right,
man.
Tommy, before we get into pitching, we'll compare the starting pitching and we'll compare the bullpen.
Yeah.
But I think you got something else.
Yes, I do. So, Parx Casino is the go-to spot for nightlife and entertainment, guys. Action, excitement, headline, national entertainment at Excite Center, plus sing-along brunches, Latin nights, country line dances, comedy nights, happy hour in the Liberty Bell Gastro Pub and Beer Garden, plus Sixers watch parties, the Bamboo Noodle House, the Parx Grill, the best cover bands, the Bet Parx Sportsbook, a beautiful poker room, Pennsylvania's #1 casino, Parx Casino. This is how you win. You must be 21. Gambling problem? 1-800-GAMBLER.
All right, well, let's go through the starting rotation because, again, this is such a great matchup, these two teams. It's a shame that we're playing in basically the quarterfinals, right, of the playoffs. But you've got, you know, we still haven't announced who we're going to, but it's going to be, my guess is, because you can really only go 3, you only have to go with 3 pitchers. You don't need a 4th in the best of 5 because of the days off.
The days off. That's why it's huge right now for that. You're catching their #1 again.
Yeah. Right, possible, so it'll be interesting. Right, so we could have, theoretically, game 1, we have, well, this is not theoretically, we know it, Sanchez is game 1, right? Now, we haven't heard what the other 2, but let's say, my guess it's either Lizardo or Suarez. My guess is that it's the other one that's not game 2, going game 3.
Sanchez can pitch game 4.
With Nola kind of ready in the wings, if something goes a little haywire. And then it could go back, and then it would go back. Game 4 would be Sanchez
on regular rest.
Regular rest, and then game 5 on regular rest would be whoever pitched game 2.
Yeah.
So that's most likely it. Again, Nola could slide in there if he wants to break up the lefties, and and maybe Luzardo or Suarez goes in the bullpen. We'll see, but that's that. So we'll stay with starters. So then for the Dodgers, you got Ohtani. It looks like it's going to be Ohtani, Snell, Yamamoto. So you've got 2 righties and a lefty. Yeah. Blake Snell being the lefty. Again, we have the home field advantage. So in potentially 3 of those games, they're going to be pitching in Philadelphia with guys that haven't. Well, Snell's pitched in the playoffs. Yamamoto has never been in Citizens Bank Park. Has never pitched in Citizens Bank Park. I don't think. Did he play here towards the? I can't remember whether.
I can't remember if he played here or not.
Because it was back in April when we played him home. I'm not sure.
He did pitch it.
Did he pitch?
Yeah.
Okay. So again, it's the starting rotations. Just like everything else, it's really close, right?
Yes.
I mean, your Snell, Ohtani, and Yamamoto against any other team would be, you got to have the advantage LA. But you're throwing Sanchez, who next to Ohtani, or next to Skeens, should have. Now they haven't announced the Cy Young.
Yeah, but
it's probably
he's going to get some votes, maybe.
He will definitely get votes because I think it's Skeens, and if you look at the
he's on the first place team too. I mean,
yeah, and if you look at the numbers, Sanchez, you could almost make an argument that was better than Skeens, even though Skeens under 2 ERA. But Sanchez,
man, that's unreal,
unbelievable. But Sanchez, Luzardo, and Suarez, combined with Nola, that's a good rotation. So
I think the biggest thing is the health. The Dodgers guys haven't pitched the whole season, right?
Yeah.
All those guys
they've been sort of banged up. Yeah.
Right. Been banged up. So to be able to come out and compete at the top level in this kind of atmosphere, especially in Philly, that's going to be tough.
Yeah. All right. So call it a tie, but give the home field advantage.
We do have the home field advantage.
We do, and then
literally.
And then I think this is where we have an advantage. That's. But it throws a little curve with with the playoffs where you can put starters now as a bench, as a reliever, but you don't know how they're going to fare as a reliever because that's not their usual role, right? Now, Vance, you know that because you've gone bullpen to starter to bullpen, and Tom, you've done the same thing.
Well, we've done that. I think the biggest thing, if you know you're going to be used and there's a chance, you got to start preparing yourself to do it. And I think Topper and them's probably talked to the guys already. They're going to try it. If they have to use a starter, they're going to try to use him to start an inning and give him time.
Right. Don't come in when there's 2 guys on base.
They're trying to give him time to to get going, a little bit to start an inning. That way he can throw more during in between innings and stuff like that. So
sure.
That'd be the ideal way.
Yeah. Try to make it as starting like as they can.
Yeah.
Use a bridge guy.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go through the bullpen because again, I think this is where we have the advantage. Now they might have a lot of names, right? If you look at their bullpen,
they have contracts.
They have a lot of names. They have a lot of big contracts. So starting, Tanner Scott, as I mentioned, was their closer. Still probably is their closer, but he's not had a great year. 4.74 ERA.
Yeah.
They've got Jack Dreyer, who's a lefty, 2.95 ERA. They got Anthony Banda, another lefty, 3.18 ERA, and they got Alex Vesey, another lefty, 3.02 ERA. They also have, again, I mentioned Rory Sasaki, who is a high-priced pitcher. He didn't have a great year, 4.46 ERA. Normally a starter, but he's going into the, Blake Trinan, who's been in the bullpen, righty.
With experience.
With experience, but a 5.40 ERA. You got Emmett Sheehan, a very good young starter who will probably be maybe like if one of these guys starters gets in trouble, you could put him in. Again, he's a young guy. You don't know how he's going to respond. Tyler Glasnow, same thing. A starter normally. Probably won't pitch against us except for in the bullpen, a righty. And then you got Clayton Kershaw. And then I think they also have Edgardo Henriquez, a righty, 2.37 ERA.
Yeah.
So that's probably their bullpen. So again, some numbers that aren't great. Some guys who haven't had, because of injuries, haven't had great years. And some starters who've had a good year, but now they're in the bullpen. I think that's their weakness. And I think we showed when we played them that when we got into the bullpen, we feasted a little bit.
I agree.
I think that's their weak link a little bit, is that bullpen if we can get to it. The starter wise, obviously they're very, very capable. You know, they're the Dodgers. They went out and got the best in the business at the time. You know,
Yep.
And it's all about catching them when they're not hot, pitching well. I mean, you catch a pitcher when they're rolling,
Right.
and they're commanding what they're doing. Anybody can stuff. They can shut you down. Yeah, Vance saw it done. I mean, 2011. What happened there? They come in and face the Cardinals with Carpenter and the boys come in there like that, locked in.
Right.
I mean, they gave him. I mean,
Right.
they give you fits, man.
Because no matter what the offense is, if they're throwing Carpenter, Wainwright, and I forget their third, they had a pretty good third pitcher too, whoever that was. But because you automatically you're thinking, oh, great, we got Halliday, Lee and Oswalt going.
Yeah.
Or Hamels, we're good to go.
Yeah.
And then then again, pitchers have good outings and neutralize the offense, and boom. All right, the Phillies bullpen obviously got much stronger when we signed Duran, because that basically sets up roles for other guys. Where now it's I'm guessing it's Strom, Robertson, Kerkering, Banks, kind of towards the end. But now you've got Tim Meza, who's a lefty. He'll be interesting to see how he's deployed. You got Taijuan Walker probably won't see action unless I imagine we're kind of behind.
Yeah.
But now you might have Aaron Nola coming out of the bullpen. And then the secret weapon, the guy who was on the last year's World Series team with the Dodgers, is Walker Buehler. Be really interesting to see how do you think he'll get deployed? You got a righty guy who's veteran experience, pitched well at the end of the season. Did not pitch well during the season with the Red Sox. It puts on waivers. Dombrowski picks him up.
That's a different place to pitch in up there. I mean, you pitch. I've never pitched there. I didn't. I mean, pitching. I've never been in that ballpark. I can only imagine. I mean, because I don't think Buehler's a ground ball pitcher. I know I was. I mean, I'd been putting some dents in that wall. But. I mean, just regular fly balls. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's a tough place to pitch. You have to figure some stuff out about yourself. So he kind of, some people struggle with it.
Yeah.
And he probably needed a new scenery again after getting there, and it didn't go the way he wanted.
Yeah.
Been a part of those type of places too.
Yeah.
Well, and then he got associated with Caleb Cotham, who's a Vanderbilt guy, just like he is, right? So that there's a comfort level there.
Yep.
And he's a new environment. It's coming in a great clubhouse, playoff atmosphere, right?
Yeah.
Where can you see Walker Buehler? I mean, he's a righty, so could you see him in a tough situation, like seventh inning, where maybe it's him and Kerkering, and he says, all right, let's go with the veteran, or let's go with Walker Buehler in there? Could you see him as kind of a...
You got to go with Kerkering, man.
Well, right, Kerkering, right? But could you see him, Walker Buehler, being another out? Maybe, all right, let's say Kerkering pitches game one, and now you're like, all right, he pitched game one, maybe I'm going to go to Buehler this time. Could you see him in that high leverage situation?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Not with the days off like it is. That's not going to be a factor.
It's going to be changing a lot of things for sure.
Right. Okay. All right, Vance, are you coming to any games for this playoffs?
If I can find some time to get over there, I'd like to, yes.
Well, it's gonna. I know I've seen it at a bunch of games. The other thing, too, we didn't talk about before we let him go is, do you know that he is coaching the team that won the Under-23? Under-23 Great Britain. He is a...
Really?
Yes, he has... You are a citizen, right? Your mom was from Hong Kong?
My mom was Hong Kong, under British rule. So that got me in for the WBC, and then they just asked me to stay on board as staff to help out with the lower levels.
Okay.
And
you guys won, right?
We won it. First gold medal in our history of baseball.
Hey,
that's awesome,
Who did you guys beat in the championship?
Czech.
The Czech Republic, and it was in Prague. Yeah. And we were talking. I said, Prague is my favorite. It's my favorite city outside the United States. It's Tommy. I'm telling you, it is right. It's a magical city.
I loved it.
I
would love to go back again.
It has just an aura about it that you feel like you're in another century. It's just all the original architecture. It's got the bridge between the east and the west. They've got this old century. I think it was like 8th century bridge. Charles Bridge, and then they've got the big castle and the palace, and it's pretty magical. So, okay. Well, Vance, I appreciate you coming on with us. Good luck, and because the games are in November, right?
Yeah, next November.
Next November.
Yeah.
So you got a while to go, but
time.
Good luck with that, and I hope to see you at the playoffs. And really a pleasure having you.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming aboard, pal.
That is the Vanimal.
How
Vance
about
Worley.
that? Great name, man.
The Vanimal. That is one of the best. And you had it on your glove too, right?
It is, yes.
That's awesome. Do the kids call you Vanimal?
They do.
They do. Nice.
They do.
Nice. All right. Sounds good. All right, Vance. So I appreciate it.
Hey, thank you, brother.
And we're going to get on our other guest, the great Dickie Noles.
Yeah.
When he's finished talking to our man John over there.
Yeah, John Fuhrer.
All right.
I call it AKA Hop Along.
All right, Dickie, don't hurt yourself. Come on in. All right. We're going to have...
I'm in Gibbs County.
We got a side conversation
Yes,
with
we got
Dickie.
we got a side one going.
All right. Dickie Noles.
What's up, Johnny boy?
How are you, pal?
Good, man.
See, look, let me ask you a question. I'm looking at your outfit here. You're obviously going to the game, right? You're an ambassador for the Fighting Phils.
We had this on this morning during television interviews.
Right. So when you woke up this morning, because I put on, you were doing that for TV, right?
Right.
I was doing this for superstition. And I don't know superstition. I felt like I had to wear a lot of red today. And so I found this, I forgot I had this hat. So
you look really good. This might be the best I've ever seen you look.
Well, there's three phases in life: youth, middle age, and looking good. And I'm in that looking good category.
You're drinking entirely too many caffeine drinks to think that looks good.
Hey, I'm 0 for 3 on what he just said.
Yeah. All right, so you got the hat on. I like the hat. Right? You got the great
look. Got the
right. You got any red in your socks, your shoes, your underwear, your belt? Like I got a Phillies belt on.
We can stop right there.
We stop right there.
Well, you got a red
Phillies
belt on,
right?
Yeah. Well, let me
what
see.
belt you got on today?
I got
a red belt.
A red Phillies belt. If you
Okay, I can deal with that. It's the other ones I got.
I got red in my underwear.
That's good.
How about that?
We need as much red as possible because we are playing. We don't want any Dodger blue. Tommy?
Well, I'm in blue today.
Blue.
Hey, we got blue. We got blue right there. We got blue stars.
Are you going to the game today?
Yeah.
You going to the game?
Yeah, I don't wear red that much,
But
I got the Philly hat.
But are you going to the game?
Yeah.
Are you going home first?
No.
So that's what you're wearing?
Yeah.
You're wearing too much Dodger stuff there.
No, it's not Dodger stuff. It's Philly stuff.
What do you think, Dickie?
Yeah, but Wendy's got red on.
Yeah.
Okay, Wendy counterbalances that.
Well, no, blue is in. Look at the star.
Well, yeah, you got to have some blue in there.
Yeah, and I got the P on my hat. Look, I mean, it's a Philly. It's a Philly hat.
He's ready to play golf.
Yes, I am.
Look, he's ready to play golf.
Yeah, I'm trying.
I can't say anything because I usually wear what I could basically go on the golf course.
Yeah.
All right, Dickie.
Me too.
We just had Vance Worley, who was with the Phillies the era of 2009, 10, 11, or 10, 11. Saw some great pitching stats. You, on the other hand, were 1980. You were basically that first world champion with the Phillies. I remember I was 15 years old, and when you guys won the World Series, I was, it was the happiest I've been in as a 15-year-old, watching Willie Wilson strike out with Tug McGraw on the mound. And now you're about to see playoff baseball starting tonight. Does it ever get old? Is it just as exciting, again, being a player in 1980 to then now being an ambassador going into watching the Dodgers tonight?
It don't get old. In 1980, we won the World Series, and of course it was 65, 67. I don't know how many people were at the Vet because people started coming in later on, at the old Vet. And then I got to experience the 93
right
from a fan point of view and working there like we both did. And
wait, let me stop you there. Did you get, I love this question, when you were a player in 1980, right? You're watching from the bullpen, or you're watching from the bench, wherever you're, probably the bullpen, right? So you're watching the bullpen, you're watching these games. Are you as anxiety-ridden as a player in the bullpen that's can actually decide some of the outcomes? Are you anxiety-ridden as there, or when you have no control and you're watching his 93 team or watching tonight's game?
When you're watching the game.
Right.
Because when you're in the game, it's a whole different. You're very focused. You're looking at it like, I'll give you an example. In the 5th game of the 1980 playoffs, we're in Houston, and I am totally irritated at Dallas Greene because I'm not in the game.
Right. You want to be in the game,
obviously. And yet, the history of the Phillies, if you go in and you blow the game, you're going to be linked in with the 1964 Phillies or the 50 Phillies, and I'm sitting there mad at him because he's bringing in Dick Rutherford. So you're locked in. You're totally focused when you're playing, and you want to be in there.
Right. And you
every
have control.
chance you can. Right. But I agree with you. I think watching the game from a fan's point of view, and we're all Philly fans, and you're watching a game and you want to see your organization win, and even if I didn't work there, I'd be a Philly fan, and you kind of like, it's different. You're right. I've never thought of that way.
Are you superstitious? Do you guys get superstitious when, I mean, again, for me, I'll be at the game tonight, and I've been with the Phillies since 1994. I've been through a lot of different playoff things. I have my own little routine where tonight in the first
he
inning,
kills me, man.
In the first inning, I'll be against the wall in the CP Rankin Club, and Harold from security will be there, and a couple other guys, Dennis, and a couple other people, and I'm sure we'll have other people. And I go against it, and I watch the first inning there, and then I usually will, no matter what, I'll leave. But if all of a sudden, if the Dodgers do well that first inning, I'm not watching the Phillies bat there because it's bad vibes at that point.
Okay.
If all of a sudden we do well there, then I'm watching the Phillies bat the first at bat, and then I usually go up to visit my in-laws who are up in the second or whatever in the suite level, and I'll go up and that's my little sanctuary where I can actually. They've seen my antics, so I can
get his fumes out.
It's my safe zone where I can do my antics.
Are you one of these guys that go, like, if we give up some runs early, you're up there going, oh, man, I can't believe. Are you one of those guys?
Yeah.
Are you one of those?
As George Washington said, I cannot lie. But let me tell you, this is funny. This is really funny. So during the playoffs in the 2008 run, poor Jill, my wife Jill, goes to the restroom in a big moment, and I think someone had a big hit, like a huge hit. Jimmy Rollins, big double. And Jill came out and we're like, stay in there. So we made for every big at bat, if there was
put her back in the penalty box.
If there was a guy in scoring position, we made her go back in the bathroom, and it worked. It kept working. So Jill's like, she wants to win as much as anybody else. So did
you give her your ring once we won?
Basically, it's my wife, right? So
I know.
What's yours is hers, and what's hers is hers.
Exactly right. So that, and then another one is the Dodgers. When we go in, we're at Dodger Stadium, Phillies are down, and I'm with Anthony Gargano, and I'm with Glenn McEnroe, and we're with Cindy Webster, who at the time was the marketing director for WIP. And she said, I'm going up to get sushi. Anybody want anything? And the three of us are looking at her. This is a tense game. We're losing. And we're just looking at her. We're like, A, how are you leaving right now? B, sushi? You're getting sushi at a ball game?
Sushi. I was just thinking the same thing.
That would be me.
I'd be already upset
because I like sushi.
I'd be upset that she's leaving anyway. But then she said a hot dog. Maybe it wouldn't be a double whammy. So she goes up there. Well, what happens? Shane hits a home run. Matt and she said, "Oh my God! It's the game. I think the game was tied at that point, right? The game's tied. I'm coming right down." I said, "Cindy, you are staying wherever you are right there, and you're not coming down the rest of the game because if you come down and we lose this game, you're getting the full blame." So the whole game, I don't know where she watched it from, but she didn't watch it. And we had great seats. We were down lower level, and we wouldn't allow her to come down to the bottom until the end of the game.
You're talking about superstitions. When I said you give your wife the ring, I gave my daughter the 2008 ring. You know why?
Why is that?
Every game she came to in 2008, we won.
Is that right?
She was in L.A. She went to that game. Matt Stairs hits the homer. Yeah. Boom. And that's the game she was at in L.A.
Is she coming to the game tonight?
No, she's going to be at the World Series, though. She's down in Virginia.
All right, yeah. But make sure you bring her up for the World Series.
World Series is very important. She'll be at the World Series. So that's why I said, Brittany, if we win this World Series, I said, every time you come around, it's like every time I went to Florida, she met Dutch Dalton would appear at every restaurant, no matter where we were.
She's got that good luck charm right there.
Yeah, she does. So I said, if we win the World Series, it's yours. And I didn't care at that point. I just won the World Series. Then they brought that big bling out. I went, well, wait a minute. You want mine?
No, she wanted to bling.
Do you ever get, because I've been around you obviously for many, many times since 1994, and inevitably, especially down at fantasy camp or out on the street somewhere, I know you've done events all over. Do you ever get sick and tired of, now it was a good thing, because you obviously, to a lot of people, you changed the trajectory of the 1980 World Series when George Brett was doing well, and you knocked him on his duff, and then he didn't do anything, and we win the World Series. So there's a lot of people in the Delaware Valley that give you a lot of credit, but people bring that up all the time. Do you ever get sick of that? Do you ever get sick of
No,
talking about it?
No, I don't. The older I get, the more no. But when it first started, all the talk about the knockdown pitch. I mean, when it started immediately. You know, it was in the paper. Frank Dolson wrote an article on it, and I think some of our teammates were like, "Wait a minute, we lost that game," and I was kind of like the same way. So I didn't really put a lot of. My thought was I just pitched my butt off in the World Series and got mad at Dallas Greene for taking me out. I struck out 6 guys, 4 1/3 innings, gave up 1 run. Of course, it was a long home run off of Akins, which caused the knockdown pitch.
Was that after LC pitched?
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. LC gave up. He hit a home run off LC in the first, 1 off of me in the second. And you know, the funny story about that was Bob Boone gives me slider 3-1. And I go, no. He gives me slider again, and I was going to shake it off again. And so I'm throwing him a fastball. Don't you know, I got a good heater that day, Tommy. I was bringing it. Yeah. And I was throwing it by everybody. But then it went back to the thought of my first year in the big leagues. Pete Rose got me. I shook off. Joel Youngblood was the first hitter I faced in the big leagues. And I had him 0-2, and he's a dead fastball hitter, and I kept wanting to throw a fastball. And after the game, after I gave up a home run to him after shaking off Bob Boone, Rose goes, "Hey, Pie, where are you from?" Because that's what he called me. And I go, "North Carolina." He goes, "Where'd you go to college?" I go, "I didn't go to college." And he looked at Bob Boone and said, "Booney, where'd you graduate from?" He goes, "Stanford." And he goes, "And you shook him off?" I'm not lying. In the World Series, I was going, I ain't shaking off Bob Boone. But I shook him once. That's enough. And I threw the breaking ball.
Wait, Pete Rose said that during the World Series?
No, he said that
regular season,
after my first Major League game. Yeah.
Right.
So I'm in the World Series, and it's 3-1. And I don't want to throw Akins a breaking ball. I want to throw him a heater. And I shook off the slider, and he called another one. He hit it 9 miles. And so that's the reason why we threw the knockdown pitch, because he never left home plate.
Right.
He just stood there.
Right.
And Rose came in and hollered, "Willie, you need to run." That's bull, you know. Said you need
And
to
Brett
run.
was the next batter.
Well, 4th inning, I got Brett.
Right.
You know, I came back to the dugout afterwards. You know how we are, baseball players. You walk back and some of your teammates going, "Hey, man, Hal McRae stretched a single to a double, slid in and popped up slide and stood on Manny's glove and wouldn't get off of it. These guys are over there hollering and screaming like they've already beat us, and they're still down 2-1.
Right.
And then you got guys standing at home plate, not moving. Back then, you didn't do that.
Yeah.
And so everybody, mainly Tug and Marty Bystrom and Bobby Walker, like, "Hey, you going to knock somebody down or what?" And I remember my response was...
And they knew you were crazy enough to...
Oh, dude, you day.
My response was, "Hey, guys, shut up. My grandmother and my mother and dad are watching the World Series. I'm going to pitch a couple innings first." I said, "But hold tight. Somebody's going."
Hey,
I just didn't think it was going to be Brett.
I got a good nickname for him, the Flipper. He will do that.
Well, hold on then. So then, what did you just say, Ray? You just said, "I didn't know it was going to be Brett." Well, at some point you did, right? Because
no.
Where did that change?
Well, when the 4th inning started, I knew that after pitching in long relief that he's probably going to bring somebody in, because I'd seen Shohei getting up in the bullpen, moving around down there, and I was hoping he'd let me continue to pitch. But once I got White out, Brett came up. I wanted to get 2 outs, and I was going to drill Willie.
Okay.
Because of what he did. I think my whole team wanted that.
Right.
Especially when Rose came in and said, "Hey," hollered at him like,
go.
"Willie, you better run." And you got Pete Rose hollering. So I figured I got to get Brett out. He hit 390 that year. So I threw 2 fastballs right by him. I mean, right by him. And so I had him 0-2. And when we were in the minor leagues, Dallas Greene used to preach to us all the time.
Up and in,
if
dude.
you got to get somebody, especially if they hit your guy, if you got to get somebody, when you get somebody 0-2, it might be a good time just to let them know. And I remember Dallas saying that, and I said, "Well, you know what?" Brett had kind of got out of the batter's box and kind of looking at Smitty a little bit, and kind of, to me, he was kind of like, "How did I miss those pitches?"
Right.
And I remember saying it, and I've talked to George about it. I said, "Hey, you couldn't hear a thing." And people forgot how loud Kansas City was. I said, "Hey, if you don't get in the box, I'm going to drill you." And then so he gets in the box. I'm sure he didn't hear me. And then I remember what Dallas said. So I could flip guys. We learned to do that in the minor leagues. So I threw it and flipped it.
You threw it first. It was perfect, dude.
What made it, though, was him. Because he
The way he
dives
dives in.
Yeah. I mean,
right.
the ball was right where I wanted it, about this far inside.
Yeah.
And of all the
But he
pitches,
dives. He wants to get extended like that.
He dove in there, man. And I'm so glad that he flipped Because if I'd have hit George Brett, I'd have been the biggest villain in the world.
Right.
In the face.
But
Because that ball was coming right at his chin.
But that's another reason for to hit him too, because he's diving in, right?
Right.
That's technically
Right.
cheating. Not cheating, but it's
Well, he's trying to take the food off our plate away, dude.
Right.
Yeah, we got to
Right,
have
right,
some
right.
of that. Yeah.
right.
That's it. Tell him, Tommy.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
it. That's our food out there, brother.
And that's to me, it's a little bit about what's missing with the game. Like right now, that you had self-policing, and now you've got you got a lot of guys. You got Soto digging into the box. You got
They doing a dance in the
Cunha
friggin'
digging
box,
in.
yeah.
And
All
I'm
that
just
stuff.
picturing like if Bob Gibson was on the mound. And
I got a
and
good
he's in
story
there and
about
he's-
that.
and he's digging his foot in there, right?
I
You know
got a
what's
good
gonna
story
happen.
about that, Braze.
What do you got?
When I played with Houston, I got to know Jimmy Wynn, the toy cannon back in the day.
Oh, boy, he could hit 'em.
When he first come in, he told me, Tommy, he says, I was there one day, St. Louis, and I went and get in the box, and I was digging in my right foot, digging in, and I got to look, and the catcher was staring up at me, looking at me, says, what you doing, digging your grave? And then he thought about it for a second. He looked out who was on the mound.
Bob Gibson.
Bob Gibson.
Right.
He said, I covered up the hole I dug.
right.
And just stepped it in, and I got in the first pitch, flipped me on easy. He flipped me on.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to help, right?
No.
But you see, they could flip people. We learned to flip people. Nobody knows how to do that now.
Yeah.
And the whole thing is you throw the ball, Tommy will tell you, right in here. You don't want to go up by the head, but right in there. And usually that makes the guy go, whoa. Because
Right.
it's coming, it's got something on it. And he gets out of the way. And if he goes back out there again, then you're going to come in again. But see, he doesn't know if you're going back out there. Unlike today's pitchers, I think everybody pitches away. You had to command both sides of the plate so you could come in, as Maddox used to. I think that's what Greg Maddox was so great. He could command that better than anybody I ever seen, both sides.
Yeah.
So,
All those Braves pitchers,
yeah.
right?
Every one of
Clavin
them.
and
Well, see, that's what people took, because I come from that organization. And people always, when I first come over, they ask us, why are the Braves doing that we're not? Or what do they do to make them so well? I said, well, first of all, we throw a lot. It's not about the effort we throw, but we throw a lot. And we work. Obviously, we work on repeat. And when you throw a lot, you get a chance to repeat your mechanics. And when you on the mound that much, we're on the mound, at least twice in between our starts. Back then, and we're never sitting the catcher down the middle of the plate. We have him, and we throw to our catcher. I mean, that's our play.
Throw right through, like Greg said. Greg always wanted that catcher splitting that outside corner.
We're right here. Because
I think that's going to be a difference in our series coming up right now. You just said it.
Mm-hmm.
I think our pitchers throw a lot more. Sanchez, you got Ohtani pitching tonight. He's only pitched, 5 games this year, 7 games or something like that?
and he's never pitched in a playoff game.
And then Ranger, Ranger had some injuries this year, but Luzardo and Sanchez at least have 30 starts, don't they?
Yeah,
something like that. Yeah. So
Yeah,
I think that's kind of like the
thrown
Braves.
the most.
Yeah.
Our starters have thrown the most. We were talking about it with Vance. Our starters have thrown the most innings of any other team in baseball, and I think Rob Thompson's going to give them, a pretty good leash, especially Sanchez, right? So, but I think that conversely, Dave Roberts is going to have a quick yank, especially at Citizens Park, if somebody's getting in trouble. If someone gets Bert Hootened, then they're going to be.
We sure hope he has a quick. But that bullpen the Dodgers are featuring right now, I think it's in their head. Mm-hmm. They're awful right now.
Right.
I mean, have you seen them some of the games?
Right. Yeah, I have. And even when we played them in the series at LA, once we got in the bullpen, it was game over. Now we were talking about this with Vance. Now they're putting in Sasaki and they're going to put in Glass now in the bullpen. So and Kershaw possibly. So you're going to have guys, but they're not used to that role. They're not used to coming in that. They're not. It's a different preparation. And if you combine that with being in Philadelphia, right, with a crowd that's going nuts with bedlam at the bank, good luck.
Well, you got to think about this. You got a bullpen coming in with your team, and you got this great team. They're a good team. And you got all these starters. Blake Snell's he's nasty. He's tough. And Yamamoto, and then you got Ohtani. You said that Kershaw, did he make the roster?
I think he did. I think he did.
He did.
Okay. Well, that was smart. I think he made the roster after the last series against the wild card team because I think Dave Roberts probably went, whoa, I can't do any worse.
Right.
I mean, with the guys that are coming in. But when you put those starters in there, Tommy will tell you, if they haven't been there before,
Right. It's different, dude.
not easy.
Yeah.
It's different.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Hey, Parx Casino, Pennsylvania's #1 casino. They have it all: excitement, headline entertainment, and a collection of award-winning restaurants like the Liberty Bell Gastropub and the Beer Garden, the Parx Grill Steakhouse, the Bamboo Noodle House, and Chicky and Pete's.
You're making me hungry, Tommy.
I know. I was sort of getting there, man. Parx Casino, this is how you win. Tickets on sale now for these headliners. December 5th, Straight No Chaser. December 6th, comedian Ken Jeong. You know that you've seen that guy.
Hangover, right? The Hangover.
And December 12th, Get the Lead Out, the Led Zeppelin tribute band. November 26th, comedian Joey Diaz. October 4th, Kansas. I like that.
Are you
one.
a Kansas fan?
That's a Kansas fan.
Kansas fan, yeah. Amen.
Hey,
Kansas. Remember Kansas, Boston, all those bands that came out?
Oh, yeah. October 25th, Almost Queen. November 21st, Air Supply. November 22nd, comedian Brian Regan. ParxCasino.com to buy the tickets for all your shows you want to go to, guys. Parx Casino, this is how you win. You must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
All right, we were talking about old school, right? Steve Balboni. You remember Steve Balboni?
Oh,
right?
shit, he could get the head out too now.
So there was a quote. He hit a grand slam, right? And he says to the reporter after the game, "Hitting your first grand slam is a thrill. I'll always remember this." And the reporter said, "Steve, you hit a grand slam 2 years ago." And Balboni said, "Oh yeah, I guess I forgot about that one."
That sounds like me.
Right.
We are getting at that age.
How about this one? Harrison Bader, his favorite high school class. You'll never guess it. You could guess a million guesses. You would never guess his favorite class in high school. It was AP Art History. He took pottery in high school, and I think he took pottery afterwards too, maybe possibly in college. And then during COVID, did you guys know he was a substitute teacher? Was a gym teacher, substitute gym teacher during COVID, and his cousin is Scott Baio.
Really?
Scotty Bales?
Chachi.
Who?
Scott
Scott
Baio.
Baio, Chachi.
Remember he played Chachi on Happy Days.
Oh,
How about that?
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
You learn
That's
something
pretty cool every day.
Right?
Yeah.
And I'm just going to throw some other stats out there. Do you know that only, speaking of Harrison Bader, if he wins the MVP, right, if we get to the World Series and he wins the MVP for the World Series, there have only been 2 center fielders that have won the World Series MVP. George Springer, which makes sense, right?
Yeah.
When Houston won the World Series. But the other one, 1973, Oakland A's. Do you know who was center field for that team?
Was Reggie the center
Reggie
fielder?
Jackson was the center fielder.
Reggie was center field.
Yeah, I never thought of him. I watched that World Series as a kid, but I didn't remember
I thought
him
he
as
was a right fielder, but I remember he played center field.
He played
during
center
that
field,
series.
and he was the MVP of that World Series. So Harrison Bader would become the 3rd for that. Also, Trey Turner and Kyle Schwarber have captured the rare split triple crown. Okay, it's where teammates combine to lead the league in average home run and RBI. They're only the 2nd teammates since 1970 to do that. So LeMahieu and Arenado did it with Colorado. Right. And that's Colorado, so you get some built-in advantage there. But obviously Turner got the National League batting title. Schwarber led the league in home runs, and Schwarber led the
RBIs.
in RBIs. So, and then if you watch that Yankees series against the Red Sox, the game that the Red Sox won, they became the first team in Major League Baseball postseason history to have the bases loaded with no outs in the bottom of the 9th, but not score the run and lose the game. So Chapman was like Houdini. If you watch that game,
I had a guy like that too. His name was Mitch Williams.
Right.
That's right. I watched that game that night, and I thought of Mitchie Pooh.
Right. Well, that was kind of a roller coaster, right?
Yes.
With that team.
But that was all good. If anybody could get out of situations like that, it was him.
Mitchie Pooh.
As soon as he struck out Stanton, I knew he was going to get out of it.
Yeah.
Because now you're 1 pitch away.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Chapman's amazing.
Let's talk about with Vance. We kind of went through the matchups of the Dodgers and the Phillies. Let's kind of talk about some of the other teams out there, because in the American League you've got the Blue Jays playing the Yankees. Now the Blue Jays are going to have home field advantage, right? The Blue Jays actually dominated in their regular season series against the Yankees. Yankees have had, they've just played, so they're kind of still got the adrenaline going. Who do you pick in the Blue Jays Yankees series?
Yankees.
Just because they
After seeing that pitcher that they pitched the other
Wow.
night, I'm pitching. I was on the board. I was like, that series could go either way.
Yeah.
But if this kid comes out throwing like that, I mean, this is a 5-game series.
Yeah.
So that kid just pitched. So he adds. I'm sure Rondon's going to start game 1. I would imagine for the Yankees.
Yeah, because Fried
And then
probably
it'll be
couldn't go yet.
Fried
Yep.
Fried.
for 2, and
And
then
then-
having that kid, it's number 3. I like the Yankees
Well,
right now.
what do you? I mean, we were talking about the schedule, like for the NL. We know we've got to play tonight, off tomorrow, play Monday.
I
That's
know.
all because of the NFL,
Oh,
probably.
yeah.
The Brazer
Probably.
says. I mean, but that gets you back. I mean, that's a bonus for guys getting their number ones back or whatever. You're facing the big boys.
Somebody
Yeah.
just asked me that this morning. They said that works in the Dodgers' favor. I said, not necessarily. I mean, it works in our favor, too. We keep our guys fresh. I
Yeah.
like our guys. Rob Thompson said this. You probably remember this, Johnny. Early in the season when they were talking about the Dodgers, when they came in here and we whooped them, they were talking about the Dodgers and the Phillies. They were saying, all this stuff about the Dodgers had swept us
Yeah.
at some point. And was that last year? Was that
I can't
this year?
remember.
No, the Dodgers did not. We won 2 or 3 both times
Well, we
on
won
the
2 or
road and
3.
home.
But it was a year ago. Well, anyway, I don't
Yeah.
remember that, but told you I don't remember everything. But anyway, I remember Rob Thompson saying, hey, look, we match up very good against the Dodgers. And I think we do. I
Yeah.
think we match
Well,
up
they're
real well.
Again, with lefty pitchers, they've got, they're big thumpers. Freddie Freeman, Muncy, and Ohtani are left-handed, right?
Right.
So they can throw left-handers, as we mentioned. They've got a lot of lefties. The bullpen.
The bullpen is loaded with lefties.
Yeah, they
for our
loaded. They got
guys.
Tanner
Yeah.
Scott, Jack
Schwarber-
Dreyer,
Schwarber had
Banda,
a
Vesia,
great year against lefty.
the Clayton Kershaw. But our guys hit well against lefties, whereas Muncy does not. 3-year
Does not.
tracker does not. Ohtani gets neutralized a little bit left-handed. Freddie Freeman hits both.
The thing about Ohtani, we talked about it earlier. I mean, I got told this morning by another show I was doing, they did the stats and stuff. He said when he pitches, he doesn't hit.
No.
And
I
he's
wouldn't
like,
lead
he's
him
not-
off when he's pitching. I think that's if I was a manager, and if he's pitching, I'd bat him like 3rd, 4th, or 5th, just to make him think pitching.
Yeah.
And
You know what I was thinking too? Like I was thinking that obviously all of us, I'm sure everybody, was rooting for the Reds to at least get 1 game, so then extend to 3. So
Right.
then Ohtani pitches, and then we don't face Ohtani game 1. But the more I'm thinking about it, everyone said momentum. The teams that get the bye, are off. They can get
Stagnant.
stagnant and this and that. Well, the Dodgers, by winning those 2 games, they've been off for 2 days. So, and again, 2 days is kind of rare in baseball. They're used to having 1 day off, but not 2. So that that might have kind of, yes, you want to avoid Ohtani, but they've had 2 days to sit
Yeah.
on it, so they're not as fresh. Again,
Right.
we haven't played in a week, but it'll be.
Well, I mean, the credit to Phillies trying to do what they did the other night, playing the inter-squad game, which I thought was
Which we had more fans.
very good. There was fans.
We had more fans than the Guardians.
I know, it was unbelievable, but watching what they were doing there. I mean, obviously you got pitchers out on the mound. They don't want to hit none of our guys. And pitching, but still we struck out a lot too. So it's good that they got a chance to see some pitches. From in a game type situation. Probably balls they don't normally see too. But you get to see good breaking balls and stuff like that from the guys, and and try to get the juices going. But I thought it's the best what we could do with the way the playoff system is right now.
Yep.
I mean, that's all you can do is try to play games like. I think you have to.
when Harper hit the homer, it was just as loud as it was a regular
Right,
season game.
right.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
I brought my 90-year-old mother to the game, and she said, now this is an exhibition game, right? It's Phillies versus Phillies? I said, yes. She said, why are there so many fans here? I said, Mom, because this town is nuts. In a good way.
In a good way, in a great way, yeah.
Yeah, in a great way. All right, so then other series, you got the Padres loss. How about, did you see the end of that? The umpire did not have a good game. The umpire missed a lot of calls, especially at the end. There was one that when the Padres were kind of rolling in the 9th, one call should have been a strikeout.
To Bogarts.
Right, and it was low, and the catcher brought it up, framed it. But at the end of the game, did you see the umpires coming down the stairs, and the couple coaches on Padres were, chewing him out, right? I get it, the emotions, but I'm like, do you think that comes back to haunt him? Like, next year when the Padres are playing, like, Are umpires going to now next year?
I don't think so.
We're going to have automatic balls and strikes anyway next year. But
Yeah.
still, the umpires are involved. But
I don't think so. I think umpires, they should have short memories too. It's San Diego had a great year, and they go into Chicago, and most people picked San Diego to roll through the Cubs, and they lost a tough game. Like you said, there was a couple tough calls there, and there were some that I thought were strikes and some that were low. But
I think they lost that game honestly because their big guys didn't hit.
Their big guys did not hit. Exactly.
So
there you go.
All right, so you got the Cubs and Brewers, right? Who do you think, if the Phillies advance past the Dodgers, when you're watching that series, who are you rooting for in the Phillies' mind, like that you want to play?
Cubs.
Cubs?
Well,
we'll have home field advantage.
Not because I was an ex-Cubby now. I was a Cubby too. But
you were.
I'm pulling for the Cubs because Milwaukee, they can create problems, and I
play a different. I mean, they play old school game, man. They move runners, do the things, and they can cause you issues.
So I'd like to play the Cubs because I think that ballpark. We go to Chicago. I think our guys will. I think they'll light that ballpark up.
Kyle Schwarber with the wind going right.
I hope the wind's blowing out when we play there. Yes, sir. Amen.
Right. Hey, I hope it blows out when we're hitting and it changes and blows in when we're pitching.
Exactly.
There's a guy that we haven't talked about. I mean, we know Schwarber with the 56 bombs and stuff, but I think Harper's feeling pretty healthy.
Yeah. And I think here's my theory. I think Harper also has. He would never admit it, and I don't even think anybody would. I think he's watching this, and I think Harper's been the greatest addition to the Phillies, but I think when he's watching Schwarber, when they're doing the MVP chants for Schwarber, and Schwarber's the NL home run champ, it's got to Harper's such a competitor, and he is he's such a competitor.
He wants to be the man.
I can see Harper, and again, this is not disparaging at all. In fact, it's going the other way. It's saying there's that burning desire in Bryce Harper to be the best, and that's why he is one of the best.
Yes.
And I think he's probably saying, you know what? This is my team. I'm carrying this team. I would love it. I mean, I'm expecting big things from Bryce Harper.
Well,
and
I
he's
think
come
Bryce
through
Harper's,
many times.
I think Bryce Harper's more excited about Schwarber's year than anybody. But this is the playoffs now, and I agree with you. I think he's like, hey, I think you're going to see something special.
Right. I mean it all in a positive way. That, and I'm expecting big things from that. All right, so you want the Cubs over the Brewers.
I'd rather play the Cubs.
Yeah, and we have home field advantage too.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of advantage to that. Plus, I think the pitching, Milwaukee's got Peralta as their star, and they've got some other good pitchers. He did.
The Cubs surprise you with their pitching.
Right.
Yeah.
Cubs have, but they don't have that real alpha.
Right.
Right. I mean, all of our four guys would be their alpha probably. And same thing with the Dodgers. You take four of their starters. Then you go to the American League, and again, Toronto, Yankees, you already said that one. But then the other one, you got Detroit taking on Seattle, the big dumper. And Seattle.
Seattle's pitching. Yeah, yes.
Seattle. I'm disappointed in the way the Tigers ended the season. And I'll be honest with you, I would have picked Cleveland to beat them, but until I watched the games and that was going to – anybody that could score 3 runs was going to win those games.
Right.
Because neither team could score. But I think that Seattle will beat them. And I think it'll be, they're going to lose one game.
Yeah.
They ain't going to beat that left-handed schoolboy.
Oh, that guy's tough, dude.
So, all right,
he's great.
If I'm going through, then if it's Seattle and the Yankees, who would you pick there to go to the World Series? That'd be a good one. That'd be a really good one.
I know. I love Aaron Boone. I love him. And he said it's the best Yankee team he's had. I don't know. Offense is, Judge is going to have to hit.
Well, I mean, he's going to have
Judge
to hit.
Is going to have to get hot.
All those guys healthy.
Yeah.
That's the key. If those guys are healthy, they can be dangerous.
I'm going to pick Yankees there.
And Seattle's got a very good rotation. I think Wu kind of was a great pitcher. Still have Logan Gilbert, right? Yeah. They've got a couple other guys. That Kirby, right? Yep. If I have him right. Yep. So, but Wu's kind of if he's healthy, that could be a big
what happened
factor.
to him right there at the end?
He got hurt towards the end.
I don't know what happened.
I'm not sure if it was major, but I think he's kind of up in the air as far as.
That's right. I don't know what it was. I just
I don't know if it was his arm or something else. Was it like
I don't know.
Ribs or something? I
think you might be right, but I don't know.
Yeah, I would love to see if. Well, one, I'd love to see Phillies against anybody in the World Series. Maybe it's a rematch of Toronto. Fighting Phillies in Toronto. Maybe it's a 2009 rematch.
Yeah.
Steve Robertson was on the 2009 Yankee team. Maybe it's a rematch of that. Maybe it's.
I just don't want to go to Seattle.
Seattle, yeah, because we're all going to be going to Seattle, the road trip in the World Series we get there. Seattle be fun, right? But it's a long,
it'd be fun. Great
long
seafood.
travel. Detroit, I've never been to Detroit, so it would be my first excuse if we went there. And that would be a fantastic one. You'd have Skubal versus Sanchez, if everything worked out right. And
if it's Detroit and Philadelphia, I'll be very happy because we'll sweep them.
He's out for the ALDS due to injury. Okay, so Wu is out, but I don't know if he's out for the whole. He could be back in time.
Well, they thought he was going to be back for this one, I believe.
They said he's recovering from a pectoral.
Yep. When you said that, that's tough. Yeah.
That's tough.
All right, so Dickie, you've been in this organization for a long time. You got to see a lot of the kids for many years as they've kind of grown from the minor leagues to the major leagues. Who are some of the ones that you've enjoyed watching kind of come up as young, some that you've worked with in the minor leagues to then get to this level?
Well, being an EAP, I don't know if I could say who I worked with, but let me tell you who.
Well, not worked with, but observed. And
I understand.
Saw. Yeah,
I was more than just an EAP for much of my career with the Phillies. A lot of times I was on the field in another voice,
another capacity.
But watching Ranger come up was special for me because I always thought Ranger was going to be a major league starter. A lot of people thought he was going to be a reliever. Of course, he could be either one. And I think one of the guys that my favorite pitcher is Aaron Nola, and I'll tell you why. When we first drafted Aaron Nola, our boss at the time, Joe Jordan, came to me and Carlos Arroyo. I said, "You guys are going with me today. We're going to go watch this kid pitch." And I said, "Okay." So we go over, we watch him pitch. I think it was down in Bradenton. He's pitching, and he pitches pretty good. 3 shutout innings. We're coming back, and Joe looks at Carlos. Goes, "What'd you think?" Carlos told him. He goes, "What'd you think?" And I said, "You don't want to know what I think." And Joe goes, "What do you mean?" I go, "I think he's ready for the big leagues." Oh, man, I got my butt wore out by Joe and by Carlos. Hey, wait a minute. This guy's just, let's see him again. Next time he pitched, he said, "Come on, I want you to watch this guy." It felt like Cole Hamels all over again because Mike Arbuckle used to see me go to watch Cole's first 5 games. Yeah. And I never could figure out why, but I'd do it. I loved it. So I'm going to watch Nola for the second game. He throws 4 shutout innings, and we come back, and it was on the road, and we come back, and Joe Jordan goes, "What'd you think?" And I go, No, I'm not going to tell you. He goes, "What'd you think?" I go, "I think he's ready for the big leagues. We're wasting our time."
All right.
Next start, same thing. Next start, he goes out and he gives up 5 in 5 innings. Now, he threw 5 innings the game before that and faced 16 guys. 5 innings, faced 16 guys, and punched out 10 or 11. I can't remember. It might have been 11. That's pretty good outing.
Oh, yeah.
So I was in the back seat going, ask me again. I'll tell you. But now this game, he gives up 5. We're coming back, and Joe goes, "What do you think?" I said, "That's easy for you to do to me, Joe."
Right.
I said, "Why are you doing that?" And, Carlos goes through the whole thing about he needs to, get his change up a little better and tighten the breaking ball up. He gets around it a little bit. Still does at times.
Yeah.
But so Joe looks at me and he goes, No, I'm not busting on you. I go, "Well, why are you asking me?" And he goes, "Because I'm starting to think like you."
Right. Right.
And I said, "Well, what made you do?" He said, "Because he could have gave up 10. And we booted 4 balls in 1 inning, and he held them to 5, and he never lost his composure. So he was special for me to watch. And some of the guys that are out there now, of course, we watch Stott and Bohm. Yeah. I thought Stott, and I still think Stott at some point is going to be a 15 home run to 20 home run a year guy and hit 270 to 280.
And play great defense.
He plays unbelievable defense.
How about one of the young guys you've seen down there?
And he works in at bat too.
Yep. So. How about one of the young guys you've seen down there that had Tommy John surgery? Usually when your first year is back from that, the one thing you get the velocity, but it's really the command that comes back slowly.
And it's the life.
But Andrew Painter,
the life on it.
I think just we kind of put Andrew Painter on such a pedestal, and then he gets Tommy John. He comes back, and I remember in the beginning of the year, everyone's like, "Oh man, Dabrowski's gonna have a tough decision. When he's gonna bring him up. Is he gonna bring him up in June, July, August? At some point in playoffs, he could be a beast as that 6th starter or whatever." And then fans are watching, and he didn't have great control.
Didn't have a good year.
Didn't have a good year.
When he hit AAA, he didn't. He didn't.
But
But in
again,
another sense, he had a great year because he
Yes.
finished healthy.
Yes.
And he got 100 innings pitched.
Exactly
and
right.
I knew that's what you were going to say. But
That's
I hated
exactly what I was going to
cutting
say.
you off. Yeah.
No. So what can fans? I know we're jumping around a little bit, but what can fans get excited about with Andrew Painter next year?
I think you can get very excited about him, and I think the Phillies will probably make him earn it because he's going to be healthy. He was the best looking. Now, I'm not saying this because Tommy Greene's here. Some of the best looking young pitchers I've ever seen in my career. I've seen Gooden. I've seen one of his first 3 games. I've seen Gooden get knocked out in Chicago, and Sarge and Bobby Denier high five and do that handshake, and I've seen him pull that hat down and say, okay, we'll see what happens. Larry Bow, I hope you're not listening. I heard Larry Bow in the dugout going, yeah, last year, A-ball, you struck out 300. This is the big leagues, you know.
Oh, yeah.
And we went to New
Don't
York.
leave that boy alone.
They should have left that boy.
Right,
We went to
exactly.
New York. He pulled that hat down, and he dominated like I never seen anybody dominate. I seen Clemens' first few games in 1984. Seen him dominate. And I seen Tommy Greene dominate in AAA and went to our general manager and said, hey, I got a guy you got to get.
Yeah.
He even said, and Lee Thomas said, you want me to get him? I said, yeah, you better go get him. You better look at this guy, one of the best looking pitchers I've seen. He goes, well, if I get him, that means you might be out. I said, leave him in Atlanta, but they wouldn't got him. No. But those guys, I see those guys. This guy, Andrew Painter, is in the class of Gooden and Clemens easily because he had that great command.
Yep.
And he had the great legs that he used, just like Nolan and Clemens and those guys. And to me, he was an exceptionally special pitcher. But here, he was even more special. He's a hard worker. He could have played in the NFL probably. And I would just say to the fans out there, don't even think about this year Andrew Painter had. Take a look at next year. We could be looking at something very special, and I'd be surprised if we're not.
Yep.
Yeah. Hey, Brazer, Parx Casino is the go-to spot for nightlife and entertainment. Action, excitement, headline national entertainment at the Excite Center, plus sing-along brunches, Latin nights, country line dancing, comedy nights, happy hour in the Liberty Bell Gastropub and Beer Garden, plus 76ers watch parties, the Bamboo Noodle House, the Parx Grill, and the best cover bands. The Bet Parx Sportsbook, which we're out in front of right now, basically, and a beautiful poker room. Pennsylvania's #1 casino, Parx Casino. This is how you win. You must be 21. Gambling problem? 1-800-GAMBLER.
All right, Dickie, what do you think about? I mean, in about, let's see, what time is it now? 1:42. So we're going to be in about 5 hours. The game will be, the bank's going to be going, complete crazy. What do you feel about this series? I mean, we were talking again with Vance, and we're kind of going through all the positions and comparing second base to second base and all the way through. I mean, it's 2 superstar-laden teams that have a lot of depth, teams that spent money, teams with good managers, teams with that are going to sell the place out, both stadiums. What's your take on this 5-game epic series?
Well, yourself, that the fans can make a bigger difference in Philadelphia than they can in L.A. I don't care how many fans they have. But here's the difference maker to me. I heard Milt Thompson talking about it this morning. If they play small ball, our team can play so many different ways.
Yep.
We can beat you. They've shown they can do that. We won a lot of low-scoring ball
Yes.
games, which I thought was great. And I heard that from everybody. Well, they're not scoring. Well, the Dodgers have to score to win.
Yeah.
Because of that bullpen. And the Dodgers had 3 straight pitchers to throw dominant games where they didn't give up nothing. And then all of a sudden in the last 3 innings, the bullpen got hammered. And I mean, the game against Cincinnati the other day, I think the Dodger whole bench was like, okay, it's 8-5 now.
That's the way it went with us when we were out in L.A.
Well,
that time.
10-5, yeah, 10-5.
I mean, the starters did well, and then we beat up on we got them out of there. I think that's the key. We got to find a way to work that count and to work those starters and get them out of there as quick as we can.
I think we need to score early. And here's what I wanted to tell you. I mean, I think this team, from Schwarber's lead and also from some other great character guys on there, I think there's a little more, I don't want to say old school, because that's maybe not, it's just the right school mentality of thinking that these guys on the 2025 Philadelphia Phillies want this world championship really, really bad. And I think the Dodgers have won one. Not that they don't want another one, but I think this team's willing to scratch, claw, fight, do whatever you can to get that ring. And I think that's going to be a big difference. And do you also
think that there's, to me...
That's well put right there.
And I think that the parallels of the Eagles a little bit. 2018-19, you basically get Carson Wentz goes down. And everyone, all the fans, including myself, were like, oh, man, they had such a good opportunity. They could have won the Super Bowl. And look what happened, and nothing against Nick Foles. You just felt Carson Wentz is your quarterback, and Nick Foles is a very good quarterback, obviously. But you're like, man, could that be our downfall? And then what happens? Nick Foles is phenomenal, leads the team to the Super Bowl. Boom. Well,
that was an amazing run, man.
Amazing run. So then Zach Wheeler, who is arguably one of the best, if not the best, pitchers in the game. Come playoff time, by his stats, is one of the greatest playoff pitchers ever. You lose Zach Wheeler, who's your veteran leader on the pitching staff, and again, everyone's like, oh man, what are we going to do here? We don't have Zach Wheeler, our star. Well, what happened then? You got Luzardo, you've got Suarez, you've got Nola, you've got the hitters. Everyone stepped it up, and I think that what you just said, that the hunger, the desperation for that the Phillies already have naturally, but I also think they have like an emotional thing of like win one. Let's win one for Zach. He's not able to pitch. Let's rally. They already did it the last 3-4 weeks of the season, and that could carry into the playoffs.
I agree with that. I think that when you look at this 3 starting pitchers we have, it don't matter if you're right-handed or left-handed. Luzardo might have the best stuff of them all. Now that's hard to say considering Sanchez throws 99, 97, and has the best changeup. I think his strikeout rate was 61% on his changeup. I don't know if I've ever heard. Even the Hoffman didn't have that for San Diego. That's amazing.
So it's coming, but they can't do anything with it. Right.
Yeah. And so I think you're right. I think I believe this team loves each other. I mean, I think they're a good group of guys, and they want to win. And I think Robbie Thompson is the best manager for this team that you could have.
I agree.
think he's perfect manager for this team.
His temperament and the way he does
and he's
things.
a tremendous baseball man.
Yeah.
Well, and think about what he's done this year, because again, we've done the last month or so without Zach Wheeler, but also, he had a landmine that he had to navigate where, we get Harrison Bader in, and you got to figure out what's Bader's role. Is he, left fielder? Is he a center fielder? Where does he fit in? And all of a sudden, Bader starts playing well. And then now he says
Trey goes out.
And then Kepler starts playing well. And then Kepler starts playing well, and he says, "All right, well, I might have to." I remember when he took Nick out for a defensive replacement, first time he's ever done that. And and Nick's a veteran, right? And obviously everyone wants to play.
Prideful,
has a lot of pride. So all of a sudden, but he had to navigate that, and then all of a sudden, he realized that just through making some adjustments, that our best strength is when we're facing a lefty batter, have Nick in right, have Bader in center, and have Martian in left. Or no, sorry, when we're facing lefty, maybe Weston Wilson, right? And then when we're facing a righty, then Kepler in right field, Bader in center field, and Marsh in left field. And again, that's to the detriment of Cassie, right? It's kind of maybe Weston Wilson coming in. Maybe Marsh doesn't like that, right? But Thompson as a manager is able to navigate all that and keep that from becoming a distraction or a problem.
When you got Kepler, Marsh, and Bader in the outfield, that's a pretty good outfield. But how about Duran?
Well, that's
when you're talking about Duran.
Right, Duran. You say tomato, I say tomato.
Yeah. But when you're talking about having a closer, I mean, he hasn't been able to really manage with a closer. I mean, we had Kimbrel was not at his best.
Right.
Now you got a closer. I can't wait to see first playoff game he comes in. And I hope it's a little dark, and those lights go out.
It'll be dark.
It'll be dark.
What are you thinking about him? I mean, just in general.
I
love him. He's a closer.
Yeah.
And what do you think that he might be missing, if any?
I don't think he's missing it. I think when he throws that breaking ball, I've seen some of the worst swings in Major League Baseball's history when he gets ahead and throws that breaking ball sometimes. I think that breaking ball is a big pitch for him. I know he's got the splitter or whatever you call that.
That's hard, though.
It's hard. When he throws that breaking ball and he gets that over, it's Katie bar to door.
And I perfectly agree with that. I was hoping maybe at some point, from hearing why we got him, why we can keep him, I hope we can keep him for a long time.
Right.
Is that split, if he can get it, maybe like 2 or 3 4-mile-an-hour difference or something like that, whatever, because it's right off his fastball. It's not breaking the swings as much as
it's like 20 miles an hour faster than my freaking fastball.
I know. I mean, but I'm thinking if it could be a little more of a change.
I
of
agree
speed,
with that. That's
like
a good point.
Like 3 or 4 mile an hour difference, that would break some swings because he throws it for strikes. It's like, is that a heater or is it? Then you look at the velocity. No, that's a split.
When he's throwing that breaking ball over, I mean, those when he dominated the Mets, if you remember, the catcher, what's his name for the Mets? I forget his name.
Alvarez?
When he came up, and he's sitting there in the ninth inning thinking, I'm going to get a fastball. He's swinging, and the ball's halfway to home plate on that breaking ball.
Yeah.
So that breaking ball's got to be tight.
Yeah.
If it's not tight,
if it got looped, the only time he got hurt, he looped one. He hung one time.
Well,
he looped
spun
and
hung it. Yeah.
Yeah, but my thing is, because he throws strikes.
He does.
I think he throws a lot of strikes, and with that split, everybody is geared hard off him. I mean, they're different, which is good. And that split is so hard. There's not a big variance, and I think that would be a huge asset down the line for him.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, if he could get something like that.
I think the only time he gets in trouble really is
because he throws strikes with the split.
And he throws a lot of ground balls because guys just have awkward swings that are. So if the ground ball is a seeing eye ground ball, he can get in trouble, right? If it just goes the wrong spot or position. And the other one is when guys are late on the fastball. I've seen a couple times where they're hitting the end of the bat, and it's finding a gap down, between the second baseman and the and first baseman, right?
Yeah, so beat like that with some balls down the right field corner.
But they're late on it, and so it's like both times you're like, all right, he did what he was supposed to do, and the hitter just got lucky, but what I love about that is that because he's set as our closer, it then allows everyone to kind of have their roles. So. Like going into the last couple of years' playoffs, some of the bullpen guys didn't really know when they're coming in. And now they pretty much know that, Strom is going to come in 7th or 8th inning in a highly leveraged situation. Now he can get lefties out and righties, but, he'll come in. Robertson, now he's had a couple bad outings towards the end of the year, but I think Rob still has trust in him that Robertson can come in that highly leveraged situation. Kirkering, same thing. Tanner Banks has kind of gained the trust of Rob, right?
I'm impressed with him. I didn't think he was that kind of pitcher. I didn't think he threw that hard either. Yes, he did. He had a great year.
Tanner Banks. And remember, he came in some massive situations that were big. Bases loaded, no outs, and he got out of it. So I think he's earned the trust. And then, it'll be interesting to see how he utilizes Walker Buehler, who, again, he could come in. Who knows if he wants to deploy. He could deploy him as a piggyback guy, or it could be something in the 6th inning in a big situation, 6th inning where you don't want to use the other guys, maybe against righties, throw in Walker Buehler for an inning, right?
He's done it.
Yeah,
he's been successful.
He's been there. I just thought, we talked about it earlier, I thought Boston wasn't a good place for him.
No.
The style of pitcher he is. It didn't seem
Fly
to be.
Balls.
Something, because that's a tough play. I've never pitched in it. You've been there. I can only imagine.
Fly ball pitchers are going to get beat up there.
Yeah, so... That was my theory.
Fastball off the wall.
That wasn't me. They hated me there.
I was just thinking, speaking of stadiums that didn't hold, like Chicago, obviously Wrigley. Did you play in that? What year was that when they had that crazy 23-22 game?
That was 1979, I believe. Before I came up, it was 1979. It was a series before I came up.
I remember watching it.
So you weren't there.
No.
That was the craziest box score you've ever seen. When you look at what Kingman did, what Schmidt did, and that was the 23-22 game, not the 18-16 game. Yeah, I believe that was 1979, because every pitcher got beat up in that game. Right.
But it was. I have the video of it.
Right.
But I gave it to Jerry Martin, but I have a copy of it because Jerry Martin was with the Cubs and he had a homer in that game or two. But yeah.
So when you're pitching in Wrigley, because you played for the Cubs, you played against the Cubs, you obviously are looking at it, it's a wind blowing out or blowing in. Could you pitch differently in either, like, are you trying to,
Absolutely.
the wind's blowing out, or you throwing a lot of sinkers and trying to get
the wind's blowing in, you just go out there and say, ha ha.
Right.
You can sink the ball in them, and that grass was thick then, so you probably.
That's like God bless his soul, Ryan Sandberg. I don't think I ever saw him with a dirty uniform on his stomach.
Right.
He always slid.
Yeah.
In the whole, it was like the grass would eat it up, and he didn't have to dive.
Right.
That grass is quick now, but it was real slow.
Back in the day, it was like that long. You never see that.
I know. But, here's the thing about Wrigley. It blows in more than it blows out. But for some reason, when the Philadelphia Phillies came in, it always blew out.
I pitched there when it blew out. Hey, one of my games there, I pitched 8 innings one day there, gave up like 4 hits and stuff like that. I didn't walk anybody. Huge.
That's the key.
I gave up 3 solo homers and won
That's
5-3. Kruk hit a grand slam and another solo homer. And that was all the runs. It was a very quick game.
Wasn't that funny?
But the wind was blowing out like 25 miles an hour. It was standing straight up. Everything it got in the air. I had 2 hit in the basket. It was like come down in the pop-ups.
I just think it's funny that the team gets into the clubhouse, and you obviously know what's going on when you're probably taking the cab to Wrigley and seeing where the wind's going, right? But half the team is super excited, licking their chops,
and the other half pitchers are like, "Oh
man,
this is no." I lived out in a bunch of us did. Ferguson G, because my first year there, we all lived out in Park Place apartments. You can see it when the game comes on. And the first thing we all did was went to our window and see which way that flag was blowing.
Oh, I can remember taking the bus from the hotel, and you're on the bus, and they're starting to turn the corner, and you're like.
Start to
peek at that flag, and it's up there. You can see it from a long way away.
I'm like, God.
All right, so Dickie, where are you going to be? And Tommy, you're going to the game, right?
Yeah.
So where are you going to be, both of you guys, when Ohtani? Well, we got Mike Schmidt throwing out the first pitch, right? And then we have we're going to have Sanchez taking the mound, facing probably Ohtani, right? Probably leading off. Where are you going to be for that?
I'm going to be standing at that point because I got to see my family and stuff. So and they're getting there they better not get there too late. So we always take our annual picture, Superstition.
Okay.
And so I'm probably going to be on the lower concourse at that point, and I just want to feel the energy at that point.
So you'll be amongst the crowd. Because I know you're going to be watching, both of you guys will be watching from a suite, I imagine.
No, I'm not.
Oh, you're not?
I'm not.
Where are you watching the game?
I'm CP ranking. I'll be down.
Hey, wait a minute. He's in the ranking club.
Wow, look at you. Big hitter right there.
Well, I'm section G, about row 6 or 8. I can't remember. Right there looking down there. I'm right there.
Well, you'll be seeing me pacing first inning behind
I know.
Behind A back there.
I might come over. Be on the other side.
I might come over to G depending on what happens in the first half inning. And you'll be
I'm going to be moving around a little bit. I got some things to do today, so I'll be there and I'll be moving around.
And you'll be sitting with your family during the game, though?
Nope, I'm not sitting with them because they got all the tickets, and I'll be moving around a little bit because I got some other things to do. So,
who's going to be more calm during the game? Dickie Noles, Tommy Greene.
I think we're
about to say equal.
Yeah.
You got to know who you're dealing with, Brazer. We're 2 North Carolina boys.
Yeah. I like to.
We know who's not going to be calm.
We know
who's not going to be calm.
I'm going to go find Brazer and check him out.
I'm already dreading. I'm already dreading 4.5 hours.
It's the funniest thing. It's the funniest thing. You got to witness it. You got to go find him.
Tommy's seen me with like UVA football.
Oh man,
UVA basketball, Flyers, Sixers, Eagles, whatever.
Well, you know what? Get some of your foot bomb, and I'll give you a foot massage when you get.
All right. So for those out there that want to know, Tommy and I played Oakmont, or not Oakmont. We played Wingfoot. Probably 6-7 years ago.
Yeah.
And they have these old school locker rooms, clubhouse. And afterwards, we're taking a shower, and the clubhouse attendant says, "Here, you have put this on your. I'm going to put this on your feet." And it looked like windshield. It looked like Windex. And when you put it on their feet, we didn't know what. We just, we're Wingfoot. Let's do it. So next thing you know, 20 minutes later, we're outside in the veranda having a cocktail, And all of us feel our feet tingling.
Your
We're
feet's
like,
tingling.
wow, what's going on here, right? So then I brought it to a golf tournament, told Dickie about it, and sure enough, at the end of the round, I have Dickie Noles and Tommy on the back of your pickup truck with your socks off, and I'm squeezing like this stuff. And I think some maintenance guy is driving by in a car.
Yeah,
He was like, what is
doing?
going on right here? These guys are a little nuts over here. All right, before we wrap up, your prediction for tonight and the rest of the series. Dickie?
For tonight's score,
Well, are we win or lose? And
we win.
A tight game, or is it?
I think I'm looking at like in my opinion, I'm looking at like a 6-2 ball game. Phillies win.
And win the
agree.
series in
They'll win the series in 4.
4. Tommy?
Agreed. I agree.
You're
That's
going the
exactly what I was
same
thinking.
thing?
Yeah.
All right, you're there. I think it's going to go 5. I think we're going to have, a week from today, we're going to have an epic Game 5 battle.
This right here would be a huge tonight. If we win tonight.
This is huge.
This is huge.
Yeah, I think we got to get off to a win right away and kind of just, and I think you're right. We got to quiet the crowd right away because all of a sudden, if this crowd gets going, who knows what's going to happen. I can't wait. 4.5 hours, Citizens Bank. Hopefully it's bedlam at the park all night tonight. And that wraps up. Thanks to our guests, Dickie Noles, Vance Worley. Tommy, thanks for being the co-host. Andrew over
pal.
there, and to Brazer.
Brazer
Thanks
show.
for doing that. Great show. And you know what, Tommy? We might be back next week.
Hey, it would be awesome.
So how about that? All right. Well,
Great.
thanks. And signing off. And we always sign off this way. As the late, great Harry the K says.
We're out of here.
We all silly like the mayor.